Welcome to the Letters Page, a podcast where we write Sentinel comics.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Christopher.
What's up, buddy?
Doesn't matter. Let's go.
Oh, okay.
Let's go.
Oh.
Okay, fine. We can do some banter. How are you doing?
I'm good.
I'm excited about this topic.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we've been talking about this.
Dancing around this for probably 10 years.
Oh, yeah. We've had the
Easily.
ideas. We've had a big idea for this.
Yeah. We've had a big idea.
For much longer than the Letters Page has existed.
Yeah, there's one idea that I'm like super excited about here.
Right. And like the thing is, there's one specific idea. And then the general idea of a distant future limited series, like this is our jam. I love this stuff. So yeah, what do you want to banter about? How's life? How's your car?
My car's fine.
Great.
It's cold as hell outside, and I hate it.
Yeah.
It's a type of cold that feels like it's angry at you.
It is.
Like you're like, why? Why do you?
It's angry at you personally. We're all suffering from the cold because the cold is mad at Adam.
It's mad at me.
Yeah. So if you're like, man, it's been too cold lately, it's because the cold is mad at Adam. That's why. Which might make you also feel like you should be mad at Adam, but you shouldn't.
I collect. I mean, you really shouldn't, because I collect people being mad at me.
Well, and also it isn't. It gives
me power.
Okay, but also like Adam's actions are not a thing that he has chosen. Like, they are determined by his environment and his upbringing and the life that has led him to this point. Everything is deterministic.
Oh my God. We're going there, huh? That's the route?
No one should be punished for their actions so much as they should be like, oh, if someone's making actions that are negative for people around them, then they need to be like quarantined and controlled, but not punished because their actions aren't their decisions. You wanted banter. We could have just been doing a comic book story. The criminal justice system needs to be entirely reformed based around the idea that people are more than just their choices, and people don't make choices even at all. Everything is deterministic. Oh my God.
I don't know that you even believe that.
No, I don't know that I do either.
Okay. You've just like taken this position.
I can. Adam, what was the thing that I did like more than any other thing in my teenage years?
No, it's true. Yeah, you would just, it was debate.
Right. And what was I very good at? What did I do?
Taking positions that you didn't believe.
Yeah. You get handed a topic, you're like, all right, I believe this deeply and have much evidence to support it. Here we go.
Yeah. Oh, well, okay. Yeah, I think we're good at banter. I think that we've...
Great. I'm glad you've learned a valuable lesson. When I say let's go, I mean it.
Yeah, all right.
We're going to get intense one way or another. If you want to get intense in the banter section, we could do that.
Look, I have to pick up a bike today, so...
I thought you were getting a bike last week.
No, I went and bought the bike last week, and they're just keeping it there, so I didn't have to hide it at my house for...
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like we're tempting fate the longer I go here.
There's no such thing as fate, Adam.
Oh, God. Oh, no. What have I done?
Just another misunderstanding.
Wait, no, you just said things are deterministic.
Right.
That's fate.
No. Fate, it gives the idea that there's something that is controlling the direction, that there is something that is determined, but it's not that there is something that is determined where everything is going. Everything is determined by our environments.
Okay.
I really don't want to keep doing this. I'd rather talk about a distant future limited series.
Let's do that. Let's talk about that.
Adam, it's finally here.
It's here.
The future is finally here.
Okay. Yeah, so how much Gilding the Lily do we want to do with this?
Pretty much none.
Okay.
So the thing is, we have to go in steps.
Yeah, okay.
The first thing we have to figure out, because it'll determine so much about what we're doing here, is this is a limited series.
Right.
This is a 6-issue limited series.
Yeah.
When does it come out? Because that tells us so much about the type of storytelling in it.
Right.
And we're not doing as much as there's going to be a part of us that wants to do this, Adam, but we're not doing a 6-issue writer's room. This issue is not a 6 issues writer's room.
No.
This is a creative process that if you want to do a cover for, there's a creative process that actually could generate a cover. Yeah. But we'll burn that bridge in the future.
My impulse is like very late 90s, like 99 or 2000. Like doing it for the year 2000 seems like, or the year 1999 seems like
I don't disagree, for one. And for two, it keeps it different from, let's just say the thing out loud that we're not talking about. It keeps it different from 2099.
Right.
Like, because 2099 was an 80s book?
No, it was a 90s book.
Was it?
It was earlier 90s. By 2000,
no, you're right.
Comics had changed pretty substantially.
Right. It started in 1992. And yeah, 1992, as much as the 90s is a thing we talk about, 1992 is a very different
It's
comic.
a different year than 99. Yeah.
Yeah,
you're talking about...
Yeah. So it started in 1992, and then they wrapped up in 1998, but they were already, like, over by then. Okay, great. So we don't want to... great. So this is a different sort of thing if we start in 99. So I had two options in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Neither of which of what you said, but I kind of like the one you said. I was like, we could put this in the mid 80s as a like, okay, hold on. Let's talk about, like, we're talking about like grim and dark and stuff here, but also like comics are getting trying to be a little bit more based in reality or reflecting reality. Because the 70s were pretty gonzo comparatively.
Yeah.
And then the 80s were like, oh, let's get more grounded. But then like talk about the darkness. It isn't like, oh, I blew up a planet darkness. It's like, no, I killed 6 people that you know. And it's like, oh, I wish you blew up a planet.
Yeah.
But
I carefully selected. There was nothing indiscriminate about.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And then the 90s. So I'm doing something in the mid 80s. We're like, oh, we're being grounded. Let's also in response to that do this super futuristic thing. The other option that I have is like, let's put it in the like late aughts as a, now we know so much about the multiverse and about the alternate realities and everything. Now, I will say putting it in the late 90s still gives us that option. It's before Desperation Dos has started. Desperation Uno ends in 93, and Desperation Dos doesn't pick up until 02. So it puts it right in between those two. That's a nice spot.
It
honestly.
Is nice. It's a little
be like, because we did get a letter that I tossed. We got a lot of letters today as well.
Yeah.
But we did get one letter that starts with assuming that this distant future series is the distant future of Universe 1 and not some alternate reality. Question. And I'm like, oh, it's not that. Like, it's a distant future that is
extrapolated
like,
from Universe 1.
Yeah, but it can't be Universe 1. Like, when it's being written, people are going to be like, oh, at this point, we've had an entire volume 1 of Desperation. This is an alternate reality that looks a lot like ours, and then we're going to push it at least a century in the future.
The thing that inevitably happens is you'll go, okay, we do this based on the state of comics right now, and then something changes in the next year, and it's like, okay, well, that no longer works.
Right. So it's like, just don't even worry about it, because if they hadn't done Desperation at all, I would say if you did this in the 80s, you could be like, okay, this happens in Universe 1. Mm-hmm. It doesn't, obviously, but it gets retconned to not. But I think that by the time this is written, it's like, okay, in a world much like our own, but we look far into the future. And so that we just acknowledge right off the bat, it's not Universe 1 for the sake of going, if anybody's like, wait a minute, hold on, what about this character? You're like, well, different universe, slightly different things.
Yeah.
It's a CYA sort of situation. So Christopher yields Adam.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you want to do 99 or 2000? No,
99. I love this as a...
We could do it as a countdown into 2000, sort of.
Right, right. That's what I was just looking at. I love this as the year 2000 is coming.
It's the last six months.
And we call the book Y2K. Well, but you put the last issue, you put issue 6 in January of 2000.
Oh, you put the last... Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, you just go, you know what?
We're betting against Y2K. That's bold.
It is. It is. So if issue 6 goes in January, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it means it starts in August. So it's starting a book in August is weird, but it's fine. It's not that weird.
It's not that weird, yeah.
It's like, oh, summertime, here's issue 1. Good luck keeping up with it throughout the rest of the year. So we know when great. First question, done.
Yeah.
It starts in August of 99. To January of the year 2000.
The distant future.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, next question.
Yes.
Much harder question.
Right.
What is this called?
Well, so, okay, I think that we have other questions first, because...
Okay, great. Hit me.
When is this? How far in the future is it?
Sure.
Because that matters.
Yeah, right.
Is it just 100 years?
So here's why I think it's
500 years?
Here's why I think it's 200 years.
200 years. Okay.
Because if we call this 200 years and we say it's in the year 2200, and so it's coming out in 1999, but you're like, it's actually 201 years.
Yeah.
Then we can name the book.
Just say it. Don't write it. Just say it.
Well, so the trick is it makes sense written down more than it does out loud. I'm going to say it out loud. We name the book Bicentennial.
Okay.
But you change the C to an S.
Oh, boy.
Because centennial is like sentinel.
Oh, boy. Okay.
I'm not married to this. It's just the idea I have in my head.
And so, like, you have... Yeah, wait, write it down now.
You don't have to write it down. You can just
I wanted you to say it first. So, but...
Bicentennial is the normal word, which I've just put in the Slack for you. Centennial. But there's other ways we could phrase it.
If we had the word sentinel in it, because it doesn't have the word sentinel in it. We
could just call it centennial and put it 100 years in the future. But 100 years is so close.
100 years is too close. I was thinking more than that, but less than 1,000.
Yeah. We could call it tricentennial. Put it 300 years in the future.
Man, I really I like the concept of the word sentinel being in it, but like it's sentinel. It's not getting there. I don't think. It's so close. It's so close.
Okay. What if we call it Centennials of the Multiverse?
Oh my god.
And each issue jumps forward 100 years.
Oh my god.
No, I think all 6 issues are in the same time. I think
so too.
I think we have to have time to see a bunch of different parts of the multiverse.
I do think that like each issue is functionally a one shot of different things, of different pieces of the universe.
Yeah, there's probably some,
and maybe the sixth one like kind of brings them together.
Right. Yeah, we'll burn that bridge as we cross it.
Yeah.
But
okay.
All right. Okay, not that name then. We're back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
Okay, so not that name, but I think we're agreed in time in which the soonest I'd want to do it is 200-ish years.
Yeah.
I'd be fine with, say, 201 years and calling it the year 2200. I wouldn't want to go more than 500 years. You said less than 1,000. I wouldn't want to go more than 500 years because if you look back in time 500 years forward, and like technology with the rate, especially in the year 2000, the feeling, the year 1999 even, the feeling of the rate at which technology is exploding is like, oh my gosh, we
could also split the difference and like come up with just a future sound a year like 2159 or something like that.
Sure. I think that's not far enough out, but yeah, we could do that.
That's 150 years.
Yeah, and I said I wanted to do at least 200.
At least 200? Okay.
Yeah, and so 150 years is not at least 200. That's interesting because of math, you see. No. But yeah, we could call it like 2351 or whatever. Like that's fine. Yeah. We can figure that out. I don't want the name of this book
to be the year.
To be the year.
Right. No, I agree.
Not just for real world comics reasons, but also because like I want it to tell us more.
Yeah, I want something that evokes like, do you remember they put out those one shots that was just like a bunch of different artists and writers like ideas for future stuff that was called Millennial Visions?
Yeah. That was around the same time.
Yeah, and like some of those ended up being like brought into things. Yep. But I want something that evokes that of like, this is kind of something that we're trying out.
Okay, what do we have in Sentinels that we can hang this on? Like what?
The host?
No, too early. Way too early. Like we've already started talking about the host, but we have not. Like,
I know, I'm joking.
I mean, so the easy thing to do, Adam, which also gives us our bread and butter stuff. And I think this is the thing. The name of this is tricky, but what if we call this book? I was going to put the name Sentinel in the title, but actually I don't think it needs it because it's still Sentinel Comics.
Mm-hmm.
it might need the word distant, or it might need the word future, or it might need a word like that at the beginning.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, what if we just call it legacies?
Okay.
Because it's the legacies of Sentinel Comics in the regular definition of the word.
Yeah, I think it does need another. I'm really on board with that. I think it does need another word. It does need I don't know about future legacies, distant legacy, but
but the idea that we're leaning to is these are the legacies of Sentinel Comics. This is the legacy of everything you're reading now.
Right.
It results in this. And that's true, but also we know Sentinel Comics legacies, that means a different thing. But we want it to mean both of those things.
Imminent.
Imminent is like coming soon. We'll call it ultimate legacies.
Ultimate legacies.
I don't think we should call it ultimate legacies.
I don't think we should either.
Far-flung legacies.
If this came out in the 60s, absolutely.
Right. Yeah. Terminal legacies, no. We already have and the only reason we can't do that is because we already have a book called Terminal Ballistics. It wouldn't make any sense.
That's the only reason.
That's the only reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, I don't love any of these words.
Oh no. Okay, but to also lean into our own mythology.
Okay.
Furthest legacies.
Furthest legacies.
Yeah, because we have in the ring says furthering your father's legacy. I quite like furthest legacies for a couple of reasons.
So I like it a lot. I'm the only reason I'm not sure is it doesn't sound futury enough, but
in the year 1999, I think it does.
Really?
Yeah, I do. And also remember, this is a world, and by the world I mean the metaverse. This is a world in which both of those words will be very to comics fans.
Okay.
I think people will see the thing we're doing.
Okay.
It's the best one we got so far, and I don't hate it, and it does a couple of clever things.
Let's sit with that for a bit, and
Furthest legacies. My main issue with it is that the word furthest kind of looks meh.
It does kind of look meh. And it doesn't grab in a title.
Yeah. Like furthest when I say it is a fine word, but when I look at it, it's like furthest. Yeah. No. Writing it out killed it for me.
Yeah.
And furthered legacies, I think is worse.
Yeah. It's the you there, I think.
I think it is. It's the me there.
Extreme.
Yeah. I don't think it's also not extreme legacies. That's a different thing, which we haven't introduced yet. That comes up in
right. Yeah.
Yeah. Maximum legacies.
Maximum legacy.
I mean, that one's got the right feel.
It does have the right feel.
I don't want to do that, but it's got that the vibe is there. Supreme legacies. It's got meat and vegetables. Every topping. Superlative legacies. Paramount legacies. No, it makes it sound like a different thing. Legacies ascendant.
I don't I think that my problem also with furthest and its synonyms here are that it's giving distance when you write it furthest. That
I'm no longer arguing for furthest. Writing it down killed it for me.
Okay, but I'm saying just all the things that are coming out of that seem distant, physical distance, and I want time.
Sure. Henceforth, legacies. Someday, legacies.
Legacy era.
It's not right.
It's not right. That's a cool name for something else.
We're in the legacy era right now.
Right, yeah.
We're in it. This is the legacy era.
Generation legacy.
Nope.
Legacy evolution.
Nope. Transcendent legacies. Utmost legacies. Transcendental legacies. Final legacies is definitely not it.
No. So the issue I'm running into now is that a lot of words sound better with single legacy, and that doesn't work.
Nope.
It's it being a plural that kind of ruins a lot of these words. If there was one called Legacy Hereafter, I'd be that's a rad series. But
but that's different. Legacy Hereafter is the series. If you do a limited series about Young Legacy becoming Legacy, or you do a limited series about Legacy, you're we're gonna do in the aughts a story. Because when it happened in the golden age of...
It's maybe an old man legacy series or something like that.
The torch getting passed to Paul, it happened very weirdly in the golden age,
right.
And it's between issues kind of thing. And so doing the story where it's no, we're going to tell the death of Legacy and then the young Legacy becoming not...
Yeah.
New like that's legacy hereafter.
Right.
But this is not that. Ugh, words. Naming things are so hard. As with most things, it was either going to be a thing that we got in one, or it would take us all day. Chrono legacies. No.
I think that we're kind of hamstring ourselves being so locked into legacies, even though it's
we certainly
really
aren't locked into it. We could do anything. Let's go a different direction.
Everything in this era was like evolution, revolution, reckoning. Like
that's not
that. Like they would just put like cool sounding words after things. Like
I don't like it. Never mind. I say you could do like millennia legacies and call it 1,000 years in the future. I don't like it for a bunch of reasons.
Yeah,
but like millennia is a word to have in the title. Like this is because of this era. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, and I like a word before legacies better than I have it. I like one after.
Word after legacies is tough because it's legacies.
Yeah, right. Visionary legacies.
Wow, talking about giving the wrong. People are like, oh, interesting. It's like no, it's no. There's certain words that we've ruined.
Oh boy,
legacies replete.
What? I think we
gotta drop the legacies.
I think we do. Yeah,
I think we do. It's okay. It's okay.
Blah, that sucks because I did like it.
I know.
I did like it.
I mean, we got Adam. We've had to throw away some really good names today, like legacies and centennial with an S. It's a shame that we've had to throw away those equally good and wonderful names. But let's look for let's look other places. This whole
realistically, I think we may be trying to think of this as too cool. Not that this is what we should do, but like realistically, it would have been called something like Sentinel Comics Genesis, Sentinel Comics Evolution, Sentinel Comics.
It wouldn't. Genesis is wrong. You do Sentinel Comics Genesis if you want to do.
Sorry, Sentinel Comics Leviticus.
There we go. Thank you. Sentinel Comics Deuteronomy.
Yeah, right. That's.
No, you do.
This is a very different series than Sentinel Comics Matthew.
It's just no. We know what Matthew is.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do. I mean, if we're gonna do that, we could do Sentinel Comics Revelations.
Okay, so like, I'm torn because
I don't love it.
It's right.
Fine.
But it's
right,
bad.
but it sucks.
Yes.
Yeah. It's right, but it sucks.
Yeah. It is absolutely a product that came out in that year.
Yeah, I don't want to do it though.
Yeah,
and like, there's got to be some advantages to making our own thing here. Come on. What if we call it Sentinel Comics Prophecies?
Prophecies. Interesting.
Like, that's a cool word that is like, future. And it's like...
I think I would do like small Sentinel Comics Presents.
Prophecies.
Yeah.
And it gives a like a, we're looking into the future.
That's really cool. Is it too woo-woo? Or... like, does it need another word?
I'm not against another word, but every other word I add to it doesn't help.
It makes it more woo-woo,
or less strong.
Okay,
I'm up for it. I'm into it.
I like prophecies.
The other thing you could do. Now this is kind of cool. So the thing you could do is you could call it Divi. I'm ready to get in the Google Doc. Nation.
Divination.
Right.
That sounds way more woo-woo than prophecy, but...
Right. But you write it the way I did in the thing. Divination. With the idea that it's like, this is America, the year 2500 or whatever. And it's a divided nation, but we're also talking about the future, so it's divination.
If we didn't also do that with termination, I'd say...
oh, yeah, it's true, we did. And also, I like prophecies more, but I'm trying to throw other things out. I'm trying to throw other things out. Right. No bad ideas in a brainstorm. Most ideas in a brainstorm are bad.
Most of them are bad. That's why it's a storm.
Most bad ideas in a brainstorm.
Yeah. You only get one good idea out of a brainstorm.
All bad ideas, right. Sometimes you get maybe 2 or 3.
Sometimes, yeah, but there's a lot of bad ones just like going
no
around.
Bad ideas in a brainstorm. All bad ideas in a brainstorm. Okay.
So I know that we said that we don't want the date, and I still don't think that it's being as part of the title. So, like, if it was called Prophecies, but had, like, 2351 or something on it, to be like, this is... And so like there would be a number of people that go, oh, this is Prophecies 2351. And everyone's like, no, that's not what it's called.
Right.
Like,
so here's a thing that I want to think about.
Yeah.
Like, do a dumb...
Put the number in the
word prophecy. I've been writing my whiteboard for Adam to look at because it's so hard to get at that. But essentially,
you just switch the E backwards.
Make the I of prophecies, the final I, the only I in prophecies. Make still dot the I, but make the base of the I the numeral 1, and then work back. We've said 2351 a few times, so let's just stick with that. That's in our heads.
I mean, it works in this word too.
Yeah, that you slide the 2, the 3, the C can become the base of the 5, and so you get 2351 crammed into the word prophecies. And so people colloquially refer to it as prophecies 2351, but the name of the book is just prophecies. The numbers 2351 are put in there cleverly, but not that cleverly.
Yeah.
The 2 interacting with the H is the hardest part.
I got that. It's
okay.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's gonna look kind of dumb, but like,
but like in a 1999 kind of way.
Yeah. I mean that gives it a nice little neat name for the universe. Also, the Prophecies universe.
Right. I think prophecies is fine.
Yeah.
I think you just it's prophecies. Oh, I hate that. Where I wrote it in the Google Doc. It's prophecies, but the way that Sentinel Comics officially writes it, the I is a 1.
Yes.
But the whole 2351 is in there.
Right.
But
yes.
The official name of the book is Prophecies, like that.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So the name of this episode now becomes Creative Process Sentinel Comics Prophecies.
And that's how it's solicited, is with the 1 in it like that. Yep. Yeah.
And in the actual title treatment, there's more than just the 1. There's you see all 2351, but the 1 is in there like that. That's the name of the book is Prophecies, not 2351. Prophecies, but with a 1 instead of an I.
Yeah.
All right. We've done great work here. I think that's as much we creatively processed the name.
Cool.
Yeah. We're good to go.
Okay. So yeah, what's in this series?
6 issues of madness. Now, Adam.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I am going to draw your attention to the Google Doc.
Okay, I'm at the Google Doc.
I love that.
Yeah.
Take a look at the first 2 questions that we have today.
Oh, dear God. Okay. Yeah, those are very big.
We don't here in the creative process section need to answer every little nitty-gritty question about, what about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? Because they are asked.
Yeah.
The first 2 questions are very big today, and then we still have other questions that are also very good. And normally I would ask people to chop down questions, but this first question we got that I'm going to read is like, this person has been waiting for this as long as we have. Do you want to do some stuff first? Yes.
Okay.
I don't want to go right into questions. I do want to do some stuff. I think if nothing else, we should know what's happening in our 6 issues, not in a writer's room way, but in a solicitation brief way.
Yeah. Who is like, what are the main characters of each of these? And
because we know who our main characters are first 1 hour, and we know they're at least coming back in the 6th one, if not showing up in cameos throughout. Mm-hmm. But they're definitely what we start with, and they're definitely there for the end.
Okay.
And that's the thing we've been working on talking about for years, and that's the Legacy Twins.
Legacy Twins.
The Legacy Twins.
Okay. So this is something that we've had forever. I just have wanted to tell you forever.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity. So as Legacy evolves, as the Legacy line evolves, they keep getting more and more powers. That's right.
We know this.
Until
But then a weird thing happens in the year 2330. 2332?
2330 is fine.
2330 makes them 21.
Yeah, that's
2332 makes them 19. I don't know if you want them more teen or more young adult feeling. That's the same thing.
Young
I know, but it's
fine.
Okay.
Being 21's fine.
Okay, great. So in the year 2330.
Yes.
Double legacies.
Yes, that legacy has twins.
Well, yeah, right. So do we do a thing? We've talked about lots of different ways to do this, and now we have to actually decide which one we want to use. And that's fine. The thing that we talked about that resonates with me the most, but I'm curious what resonates with you the most in your head. The thing that we talked about that resonates with me the most is doing a thing where legacy is the mom of these two.
Mm-hmm.
But the dad of these two is a person with powers as well. And so there's like, oh, this is like, divergent, lots of power stuff here. As an explanation for like, oh no, why?
Well, I mean, I don't know that we need a why. We have like a bunch of extra stuff anyway, but
no, it's
like
true.
A bunch of extra powers.
It's true. But like as a catalyst,
sure. I kind of figured that we kind of breeze past that we
definitely do. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it.
We just jump into them being adults and we go, look at, they have the powers split across the two of them.
Yeah, that's certainly the case. And I mean, especially this being a limited series, we don't get a lot into family stuff.
I think if we revisit it, we can go into that, but like,
sure.
I don't think it's necessary for here to like really get into their birth.
All right. That's fine. So from their history, we have two legacies.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think, Adam, given that we're doing the year 2351, we should do a thing that future books sometimes do and is silly, but I think fun.
Okay.
Which is the names are all normal names, but no, they're not. Where it's like, oh, I think that these two should be like, oh, and we gave them names because they're twins, hearkening back to the legacy line. We gave them the traditional names of Paul and Felicia.
Yeah.
But just spell them real weird.
P-O-L.
Yep.
I was Pol Pot. We're not going to do that, but like
I was thinking like P-O-U-L, Paul.
Oh God.
Yeah. And then also as the name Parsons, I think the name Parsons hasn't shifted.
No, I think that they keep the name regardless.
But you get Paul, P-O-U-L, Parsons, and you get Felicia.
What if you went PH?
I think it's too silly. I think that I don't think that reads.
Wait, go PHI. I like spell the rest of it.
That's just Phil. That's just Phil. That's just Phil.
No, I guess spell the rest of it right.
I like the other one.
I kind of like the PH.
But let's go down the line. I think both of those are a little bit too pedestrian, if anything. I think that like this Paul looks upsetting just by changing the A to an O. You're like, yeah. And they're like, the name is Paul. And that's just how you spell the name Paul. It's like, it's fine.
Philly, ew. Ugh, I hate it already. What about spelling it Felixa?
Felicia. Felicia.
Or Ixia.
Felixia. That's Felix. It's just Felixia. Why do you want to give her a boy's name? You want to call her Phil? You want to call her Felix? Come on, man. Come on.
Look, I'm trying to make it extreme here. In the future version of extreme.
The future version of extreme is you take a boy's name and you add at the end.
It's still Felicia. It's just spelled bizarre.
Can we get... So I think that's what you're trying to do here, but can we get to... With Paul, we changed one letter and it became immediately upsetting.
Yeah.
Can we get away? Is there? I think it needs to be a vowel. I think doing it with one of the consonants runs into the
F-Y.
That's Felicia. I think we could do. That's not bad. That looks futury.
Yeah. Felycia.
Yeah. Felicia. We got Pole and Felicia Parsons.
Dumb. Okay.
Yeah, that looks like a future.
Yeah.
A swing and
we changed this for no reason. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. First off, Adam, before we do this, let's just put over here legacy powers. Okay. Flight. Sure. Yeah.
Super strength.
Yeah, I want to real quick. I want to though, because like
put them in order.
Well, and not necessarily, but we split them. We split things up in a way where it's not just. Yeah, here we go. What I have for you right here, my friend, is this list.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Great. So, to harken back to the first ever episode of the Letters page.
Yeah.
Joseph Parsons has danger sense.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Parsons the first. Has exceptional athletic condition, which I think they both have, but it's fine. Yeah. Paul Parsons II has super speed. Paul Parsons III has super strength. Fourth has single attack negation. Fifth has vitality. Sixth has flight. Seventh has keen eyesight. Eighth has bulletproof skin. And ninth has laser vision, atomic glare, laser eyes.
Yeah.
Okay, so worrying not about where these all come from, Adam.
Figure also we have a good like 6 more powers probably.
This is the next thing we got to do is say, okay, fine. How many more generations of legacies do we have? Now, at this point, we're going from in the year 1999 when this comic comes out.
Yeah.
Felicia, not Felicia, not Felicia.
Not Felicia.
Not Felicia. But Felicia is a young adult teen who is wearing the legacy costume and fought in the Voss thing years ago. So, like, we're not to college level with her, but we are in late high school with her. We continue to be in late high school for a decade. Right. It's fine, but that's where we are with her. With the idea that sometime within the next decade of her life, she could have a child.
Yes.
So, by the accounting of this comic book, by sometime in the early 2000s, she has a child.
Yes. Okay. So that's
how many legacy generations do we get every century?
I think we just do
3?
like an average of 25 years. Like I don't think that we need.
I was going to say, if we just do every 100 years, we get 3 legacies.
I think that like generations used to be shorter, and then
but in the year 2000, and also like it like nods to the comic history because we've had like by comics, it's going to be by 1999, it's going to be a running gag that Felicia has been a child for decades.
Yeah,
so,
but like no, so like what I'm saying though is that like is I think when you have a family and societal imperative on you specifically having a child, you're probably going to be pressured into doing it sooner.
Okay.
Like because
sure, I hear you, but I don't know what that has to do with.
Well, so like I'm saying that like most of them should have one by 25.
I don't. Sure, fine. Point is, I think for the purpose of this chart, what we can do,
which would put 4 a century,
I think we should do is 3, and here's why.
Okay.
If we do 3 a century, that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 more powers.
It's a lot of powers. Yeah.
You want to make it 14 more powers. And I'm happy with 11.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And this actually goes slightly.
That's
this goes slightly more than 3 a century because it's putting 2 in the 2300s, and they are born in 2330.
Right. Yeah.
So,
I mean, I imagine that these are not like
they're not going to be.
We don't know
this is why. This is the reason I don't want to do 25 years is because the wiggle room on that is worse than 33 years.
All right,
then the wiggle room's greater. Anyway, point is we need to come up with 11 more powers that the legacies have now.
Okay. All right.
Now, the cool thing is that at the beginning of this book, going back into actually talking about comics instead of creative process stuff, and if I were doing this storytelling wise, I would do this behind the curtain if this weren't a creative process, if this were a writer's room, because there's going to be some moment in issue 6 in which one or both of them does a thing, and everyone's like, whoa, I'm sorry, what? It's like, oh yeah, don't you know? Legacy has that power. And so like there's going to be surprise powers that come around here. So we can have some really out there stuff. Like somewhere in here.
I have an idea for their last power also, which I'll tell you once we get there.
Sure, but somewhere in here, I want to do something like this because having in a big fight, one of them go tunk like
and self-duplicate. Jeez,
right?
Oh my gosh, is that too much? Let's.
This is the thing with it. This is the thing
because there's already 2 of them. Like that is
right. But if one of them can make a bunch of like short-term copies,
so I think that. We should bump up use one of these powers to bump up the speed on one of them, like considerably. And maybe that I think of like this, you can do the self-duplication through After Image.
Okay.
Basically.
So, but yeah, the point is let's just throw some powers out here and we'll move them around as we go. So I do like more speed.
Yeah.
That's great. But I think that most of these powers shouldn't be utility increases like that. I think they should be. I think that most of them should be as wild as laser vision, as adding laser vision. Adding laser vision to Legacy is wild. You have this character as a certain particular archetype. You add laser vision, completely changes the archetype. Right. And I think that we should have at least 4 archetype changing powers where it's like these legacies are like, what is going on? Because this Distant Future series needs to be so different. It needs to be wild.
Do we do?
And that's why I said like self-duplication, because that one's like, whoa, oh, what's happening here? So,
do we do a psychic power?
So I think that everything, keeping in terms with what legacy does, even with the laser vision, should stay in the realm of superpower brand superpowers.
Okay. Here's
what I mean by that. I think we should, and I think we should avoid psychic just for the sake of it feels not very legacy-y.
Sure.
It's a villain power. I think that we should avoid magic.
Okay.
We're obviously not doing any technology things. I don't want to make one of them a tech inventor, like I think they should be superpower brand.
Okay. Do we want to? Okay. So actually, this might work. Do we want to add a bunch of different visions? Like, since
we have keen vision and laser vision,
we have keen vision, laser vision. We can add ice vision. We could add lightning vision. We could.
Sure, I don't think we should have lots of attack visions. I think we add one more. Ice vision is cool. Let's do ice vision.
Sure.
But then I also think we should also have X-ray vision.
Yeah.
And we have that's good. We have keen vision, even more keen vision, and then we have two different kinds of attack vision. That's great. Yeah. I think we should have portals.
Portals. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Because one of them is going to get flight.
Yeah.
Spoilers. I don't know if we've been clear with people. All the legacy powers are getting split up between the two of them.
Yes.
Is
part of it. We did say
okay.
That.
Okay. I just want to make sure. But yeah. So portals feels like a really cool, different thing. I don't super want to give them elasticity.
No, I don't think that's right.
You know what? I kind of want to cut ice vision. Let's leave just so that they're not both doing Piao things with their eyes.
Yeah.
Let's leave. Okay, we have keen vision, X-ray vision, laser vision. Let's have the other one do energy blasts.
Okay, energy blasts fine. Yeah.
Okay. How do we want it? What kind of energy? Because there's lots of different ways to do energy blasts.
Photonic energy. I have an idea for another thing. Actually, so maybe this will inform what this is.
Sure.
Give one of them a silver form.
Oh yeah, silver form's great.
Yeah.
Silver form is great. Yep.
And then you could call them lantern blasts also.
Oh yeah, lantern blasts. Yeah.
Just like double down on the branding.
Yeah. By all means. All right. What else here? Because I'm now thinking, because we're thinking for the purpose of this, we're not thinking about like making stories of each of these individual legacies.
Right.
Although there will be asks of them.
Yeah.
But how many do we need more? We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more. Let's come up with 2 more that are just like put them in there somewhere, and then leave the other 4 open for once we slot everything into the 2 of them. What are things that those 2 need for their loadouts to complete them?
Great. Okay.
Because I have some ideas of what we're going to have.
Do you want to do a
seismic thing?
I was thinking about like maybe like an energy absorption that like not like you could just shoot lasers at them and they absorb them, but like I'm going to go into a reactor and suck all this up or whatever.
Sure, energy absorption is great. Do you want to also do extrasensory senses? So it's like superhuman senses of some sort. Like we have keen vision, but do you want to have like
evolve the danger sense?
Yeah, right. Evolving danger sense without going into the psychic realm is tough.
Yeah, I mean, calling it like limited precognition or like I mean precognition is different than being a psychic though also.
I think you go from danger sense, which you have danger sense.
Yeah.
And you take it one step further and you call it legacy sense. And legacy sense is just an awareness of everything that's going on around you. And you're like, oh no, I just know what's going on. I was like, oh hi, the thing over here. Oh, there's a mouse under that cupboard over there. Oh, you lost your keys? They're right there.
It's like a fusion of danger sense and like daredevil awareness. Like I don't need to look at something to know it's there.
Yeah. So we'll just throw legacy sense somewhere in here. Great.
Yeah. And you want one more?
I want one more.
One more.
Prehensile hair. Ability to grow your toenails and fingernails at whatever speed you wish.
So I kind of think we should just go from here. Let's split these up. I think that we're hitting a wall with a lot of and we can come up with things that augment kits.
I said I wanted one more, but I actually didn't say that because earlier I said I wanted to leave 4 open, and we have 4 slots open.
We have 4 open. Yeah. Okay.
We already did as much as we.
Okay. So the other thing I think we should do is condense these a little bit into things that overlap. Because I don't think that one of them's getting bulletproof skin and the other's getting single attack negation. I think that the one gets the invulnerability.
Yeah. I don't disagree. I think we can do that as we go.
Okay.
Because I think we can be like, oh, so here's the thing that I think is going to separate them the most, Adam.
Yeah.
The thing that I think is going to separate them most is how they move through space. And then everything else will get decided by that.
Okay.
So I think we have one that is a flyer and one that does portals.
Yeah.
And that really nails down. Just like we'll have one that does I-beam, I-stuff, and one that does lantern blast stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so great. So which one between Paul Parsons and Felicia Parsons, which one do you want to draw flying, and which one do you want to draw making portals?
Well,
I don't care.
My head, the girl always flew.
Great.
So
great.
And
that's fine by me.
And I think that I'm thinking of her not having super strength but having the silver form so she can do like a silver bullet move. So she can zoom into things and not be harmed.
So silver form gives her essentially like a lot, because then we can give Paul super strength and also bulletproof skin and single attack negation. And this makes him like, oh yeah, he's
kind of the tanky guy.
Well, and also you get super strength, bulletproof skin, single attack negation, and his name is Paul Parsons. Great. We open the book with him standing in a street, and he picks up a car, and he looks like Legacy, and he does Legacy stuff, and then he opens a portal and jumps through it, and Legacy flies in, and it's like,
yeah,
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, that's great.
But like you get the bait and switch of like, oh, see, he looks like Legacy. Yeah. She also and she looks like young Legacy. But wow, are they different? Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, the thing that I think he does is he picks up a car, is strong, somebody shoots them, bolt blasts off, and he I-beams back at them. Because taking the I-beams from her to him is interesting, where it's like, okay, give him the laser vision. Because her flight and silver form, I love that. Okay, all right. Now, let's pause here.
I like being able to reflect things off of her, too, with her silver form. He can reflect his I-beams off of her.
Yeah, there's good stuff there. Okay. So since he has laser vision, does that mean he also has
extra? He gets all the vision. Yeah, and the keen eyesight.
Okay, we might be
done with him.
How many do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Adam, we are cutting one of these powers because they need to split evenly. Because what I want to do, they will each have 10 powers.
Great.
And right now, he has
7.
Oh, okay, 7. He has. It's fine. He has 7 powers, so he's gonna get 3 more, and she's gonna get 8 more. That's fine though. Okay, so
we'll give her super speed and lantern blasts.
Well, so let's give her super speed, more speed, because that's another one.
Yeah.
She gets lantern blast certainly because he has the eye vision. And let's give her danger sense.
Yeah. And legacy sense. Yeah.
Legacy sense
as a result. So now they're even.
Yeah, now they're even. That worked out really well. Okay, let's see what we got here. So danger sense we've done. Super speed is used up. Strength is used up. Single attack negation is used up. Oh, vitality. He has vitality. That's
and kind of by default, exceptional athletic condition. I kind of feel bad for whoever gets that one because like it's shortchanging them a power. But
I think what we do is we give him in the super strength, bulletproof skin, single attack negation sense. We give him vitality, and then exceptional athletic condition. We give her with the idea that he is more bricky speed, and she is more agile.
Yeah, flies around and does.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
So he's also built as the brickiest Legacy. Also, he's probably the widest. Like
right. That when we first see him, we'll be like, oh, here's a
it's a big chunky one.
It's a big chunky Legacy, but he's just normal Legacy. And then eye blasts and portals, and it's like, oh, okay. And then here she comes flying in. It's like, oh, okay. Flight we've taken care of. Keen eyesight we've done. Bulletproof skin we've done. Silver form we've done. Have we done everything? No, we haven't done energy absorption, which is fine. We'll get to that in a second. We have done X-ray vision and legacy sense and lantern blast. So Adam, what we have left.
I kind of feel like she gets the energy absorption and that came before the lantern blasts, and so
you absorb energy and then you lantern. Yep, that makes sense. Energy, and it did come before the lantern blast. It came 130 years-ish before the lantern blast. Yeah. We're still making 2 ridiculously overpowered heroes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. So that means, we need 1 more for her and 2 more for him. Okay, so I really still like the idea of in issue 6, this wild moment in which one of them, like, short term can, like, for 2 minutes, if they focus on it, actually. Do you want to do it as after images though?
Yeah, she can do after images as it is.
Okay, it's just as okay.
I think it's a little too out there in the way that plasticity is. Also, like we could give him seismic stuff with this build.
Yeah, with this build, we could give him a seismic stomp. You could also interestingly give her the seismic thing if she like craters into the ground. But so it could go with either one. Acid stuff. That's not right.
Density control for either of them.
I could see density control being an extension of the vitality, bulletproof skin, single attack nation. Give him density control.
Yeah.
It's kind of meh.
I don't know that I want him to be able to go intangible. Like that's not
right.
That's not the way this guy fights.
You should only go heavier. So, yeah. I don't hate phasing for her.
What if we did like phasing for her and gravity for him?
Yeah. That like you get
like he can project a gravity field around him.
Phasing, so she can while flying phase through walls and stuff, and that also kind of works with silver form. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Gravity that I'm gonna call it gravity well, that he can like pull things in.
Yeah.
Make
things heavier around him. That's kind of what I was thinking with the density anyway, is making himself heavier and like.
Yeah, and gravity kind of does that in a different way.
Yeah, so he needs one more though.
But he's already built. Yeah, she is set. She's got flight, exceptional athletic condition, silver form, super speed, more speed, energy absorption, lantern blast, danger sense, legacy sense, phasing. So she is young legacy and tachyon mixed together without atomic vision, but with ability to become silver form.
So here's
energy absorptions and blasts. Nonsense.
Here's one thing, and like we might need to take a power from her to do this.
Okay.
That I thought of is having their last power be a fusion power that they do together.
The other thing we can do with that, we've already cut one power from the list.
Yeah.
We can add one power in, and it's their mother's power that they share.
Yeah.
And that's their fusion power.
Yeah.
And like their mother had a power, and it's like every legacy has a power. I don't understand what mine is. Mine is like I can like if I'm touching somebody else with powers, I can like feel their powers, but I can't seem to really do anything with it. And she's like, "Oh, I'm not sure what this power is." And that was a power that
maybe it boosted other people's powers. Like she could like give them a small little boost or whatever. But when they both use it together, they go like, "Oh, we do this crazy twins move."
Yep, boost / fusion. So we don't have to take a power from either of them. We still get to give him one more power, but then we have boost / fusion as the last power for each of them.
Yeah.
They could boost other people, and both of them have this power, which is weird.
Yeah.
The other thing we could do
that's on brand for Legacy too.
Yeah. The other thing we could do with
I call it galvanize.
Yeah, we get a power called galvanize. Good job, Adam. You did it. But when they galvanize each other at the same time,
yep,
they
both turn silver and are bristling with energy and do fly around.
When we say fusion, we don't mean that they turn into one being.
No, they just are both like.
We mean they fuse. They essentially share all of each other's powers.
Yeah, and it leaves them completely like wasted after. It's
they can't do it for long.
This is just like this is their ultimate move that they can't do over and over.
I don't think we want to give him teleporting and portals. I don't think like we've had some powers that level up like that, but teleporting and portals I think are different things.
Yeah, I think so too. I like the portals better. I like him just kind of stepping through them.
Well, and also like doing a thing where he's like, "Oh shoot," and he makes a portal and shoves it through himself. So he's like, "There, now I can go somewhere else." That's how he would teleport.
Makes a portal and puts a gravity well.
Yeah.
On the other side, sucks people through the portal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't even have to put it on the other side. You put it on this side. You make the gravity well. It pulls them to it. You just get rid of the gravity well. Momentum.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool stuff. We need what else fits with him, because that's the thing is like, sure, I can come up with other powers. He's so strong. They're both so strong. It's real wild. Okay, so he is immune to damage between vitality, super strength, bulletproof skin, and single attack negation.
Yeah.
He's got portals for transportation, which is great. He's got
all the visions.
Vision, and then he's got gravity well. Okay, dude, let's just level up Gravity Well.
Level up Gravity Well.
Yeah, let's do Gravity Well is the pull to himself. We've already talked about he could put the Gravity Well somewhere. That's gravity projection. So that's just 2 gravity powers.
Yeah. Okay.
And since we've got this other thing of like other powers that level up over time.
So like, yes, they're overpowered, but I don't think that they're overpowered in a way that can't still be interesting though.
No, I agree, but they are. There is a reason that they're like, yeah. This distant future limited series. These 2 legacies are nonsense.
Yeah.
Like, this is a wild set of powers. If you had come to me like, Christopher, an idea for a character we put in the Sentinels of the Multiverse, check it out, and they have these powers, I'd be like, half that at most.
Yeah.
Like, nonsense.
Yeah.
But that's fine. That's the point of the legacy story. This is
right.
and this is the point of doing this. We're like, what if we imagine a time hundreds of years?
How do we extrapolate this out? Yes.
And the answer is just wild times.
Yeah. Make sure you give him Galvanize also.
Oh, right. Of course. The capstone power for both of them is Galvanize. Is a power called Galvanize.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
We did it.
All right.
I feel like issue 1 of this. All right. Back to where we are. I feel like issue 1 of this can just be about them.
It's the thing that we said where it opens with him being Big Brick Legacy, and then like boom, 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 somebody shoots at him, he boom, laser beams back at him, and then he's like, sis, I'm gonna need a hand here, and she's like, got it, craters in silver form, and then we both see just like their powers just going. We don't get Galvanize. We maybe get Galvanize.
We get Galvanize issue 6.
Yeah, I think we get Galvanized maybe before that, where like maybe in issue 3, they're here and it's them in issue 1. In issue 3, they have like a little cameo, and in that they use a galvanized power. One of them uses a galvanized power to support
someone else. Yeah.
a hero, right? So we get the introduction to that.
Do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think that like issue 1 is them doing stuff. Now here's the next thing, Adam.
Yeah.
They've got to fight something Baron Bladian in issue 1.
Oh, absolutely.
They've got to fight something Morden Gradian. There's got to be. Issue 1 is them, is the Legacy Twins.
Yeah.
Now they're definitely called the Legacy Twins.
Yeah.
Are they both just Legacy?
I mean, I see that being incredibly confusing and kind of dumb. I think that they are the Legacy Twins, but they have like their own names within there. Actually, like the name Beacon can come from her here.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that we would call. Yeah, what if we call, even though we gave her the thing that we called Lantern Blast, what if we call him Lantern and call her Beacon?
That's fine. Yeah.
Like Lantern's not a name we can use in a lot of things.
But like, it's fine. Yeah.
The reason that we can't use Lantern for a lot of things isn't anything that affects the metaverse. And so it's like, as long as we're not making Lantern our next big important character that we're going to put on a lot of marketing for the world of Greater Than Games, that's not happening. No. So, yeah. But the names for them, Lantern and Beacon.
Yeah, that's solid.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And they're the Legacy Twins. Oh, shoot, the Legacies are here. Don't you know they have individual names now? Yeah, I always forget, though.
Legacy is my family name. Yes, Lantern Legacy and Beacon Legacy.
That's right. Lantern is their first name. Their surname is Legacy.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
All right.
Great. Yeah, so they fight a Baron Blady thing.
Yeah, and here's the thing.
I think that I think that whatever the version of Baron Blade is, though, I think is the ultimate villain of this series.
Yeah, we're definitely coming back in issue 6, because issue 6 is like, especially because this is 1999, right?
Yeah.
Issue 6 is a Vengeful 5 sort of situation with this Baron Blade and other notable villains that we've seen.
And the other villains that we saw through that, yeah.
Yep, right.
Okay.
But we need to know who/what is this Baron Blade. First off, are they called Baron Blade? Or, like, presumably there's something else. And who are they? Are they the long-lost great-great-great-grandson or whatever of Baron Blade? Or are they, no. Like, that line is gone, but now someone who's like, Mordengrad has become just like a normal country in the world, but like there's this underground movement of like trying to unbury the blade or something, you know?
Okay, so actually, what about this?
Is it just Baron Blade and he's a ghost? No, okay, go ahead.
What about this?
It's not that.
Mordengrad is one of like the leading nations of the world now.
Utopia.
They're great. It's You have someone who is essentially like a underground terrorist from Mordengrad that's like, no, I want to bring Mordengrad back to how it was and restore
back to its roots.
And like, we should be dominating the world from this position. I'm going to take the name Baron Blade and
make Mordengrad rad again.
Boo.
bring back, put the rad back in Mordengrad.
Yeah, and he
bring back the goat.
So we get someone who is claiming the name Baron Blade, and it has is mysterious and doesn't. We don't know.
I don't have a problem with this Baron Blade being a descendant of our Baron Blade.
Sure, there could be many descendants also, and
like this, the idea that this Baron Blade, like
the person running Mordengrad, could be like a. I mean that's what you do. Also, you go like this is his brother or something like on the throne. That I'm like and you're wasting this country. Right, we could be ruling the world.
But like many have claimed to the. So as much as I like the brother idea, I kind of think I want to distance the claim.
Distance it more.
Yeah, many have claimed to the Baron Blade bloodline. The person who's on the throne happens to have Baron Blade blood. It's not required for the throne, but it frequently happens, especially as a more figurehead. We have this ceremonial figurehead leader that is the leader of Mordengrad, and we've put our weapon, terrorism, etc. past behind us, and we are now a leading utopia in the world, and that's great.
Yeah.
But you have this other person, another distant descendant of Baron Blade, who's like, no, the Blade bloodline has been relegated to the position of a figurehead for too long, and.
You could also do a thing like we don't need to know this right now because I think I want to do like a mask and mysterious figure and like technological whatever.
Great,
but like this could be someone who claims that he is part of Baron Blade's bloodline and might not even be telling the truth.
Right, and but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Right,
this person's position is that the Baron Blade bloodline being relegated to the position of a figurehead leader and the country just being this like woo-woo place.
Yeah.
Is not the true way.
Yeah.
And we have to have a return to greatness.
Yeah.
So what is this person want? I mean, at this point, then we have this person do terrorism things, but like technological genius, super future tech level stuff. Yeah. And then the legacies have to go stop him because he's messing up this place called Mordengrad, which is a wonderful, lovely place.
Right.
Great. 300 plus years ago, Mordengrad maybe wasn't as nice, but that's centuries ago.
Yeah, but there hasn't been a Baron Blade in centuries either. Yeah.
Right. Okay, great. All right, that's issue 1. And
I'll give him an actual sword this time.
Yeah, it's left unresolved. Yeah, but like it's a future tech sword.
It's a future tech sword. Yeah,
it's a laser gun sword.
I'm gonna make like most of his technology blade based. Actually.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
He's like, we gotta. Yeah. Okay.
Better branding.
Now the second issue of this book is prophecies, but the I in prophecies is a 2.
Oh God!
Prophes 3s, and then Prof 4 3s.
Oh God!
Prof 4 Cs, Prof 5 Cs.
That's terrible.
Prophecy 6.
Okay,
we're not doing that anyway.
Right. I think that we go like way less deep on most of this.
So here's the thing.
Yeah,
I think so. What we know, issue 1 is Legacy Twins versus New Baron Blade.
Yeah.
Great. I think, and issue 6 is Baron Blade assembles villains against Legacy, Twins, and other heroes. That's issue 6. That's for sure issue 6.
Right. It's the big crossover.
Yeah. Issue 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
And issue 3, we have the minor note where we have Legacy, Twins, do a galvanize of another hero/heroes. So we see that in issue 3, but issues other than that note, issues 2, 3, 4, 5, I think we let happen during the question section.
Okay.
Because during the question section, we have all kinds of questions
about people being hour and a half in. So
yes, we have already been recording for 90 minutes. Now, mind you, it won't be that long for our listeners because Trevor will hopefully cut out 20 plus minutes of trying to come up with a name for this book.
Yeah.
But I'm very happy with Prophecies, with the 1 in it. I'm both happy and unhappy in the right way. It's a better sounding name than Centennial. But it's not as cool. But yeah, so I think we go into the questions, and as we go through the questions, we'll be like, oh, shoot, no. With those characters, we'll put them in this book doing this thing, and we'll slot them in. And at the end of this thing, we'll do a recap, which is normally where we talk about the cover.
Mm-hmm.
And in the recap, we'll talk about, for sure, what's in all 6 issues. Not like beat by beat or anything like that.
Right.
But as much as the note of the Legacy Twins versus Bear and Blade, that's good enough for issue 1. But we'll give you a recap and talk about if, hypothetically, Adam wants to do any of these covers / has time in his busy life. Probably not, but something.
Well, when I usually do covers, we have a large meeting, so.
I'm aware.
It's also my son's birthday.
House. Is that a problem? Do we need to move the meeting? Is that going to mess up your
No, I
birthday
don't do things
plans?
all day during that. It'll be fun.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
We're doing
you get a
stuff
whole,
we're doing stuff
you get a whole
for him
birthday
on
month,
Sunday.
Adam, so I didn't know what your date,
I know,
your son got.
We're doing stuff for him on Sunday with
So
family and stuff, and then we're just doing a dinner on his birthday. So
you're telling me you get an entire month and your kid gets not even his actual day. That's
correct.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Christopher and Adam reading letters to you. Christopher and Adam.
All right.
All right. My first letter today comes from Kendall, aka Bart K.N.Y.F.E. And this letter is multiple pages, but is worth going through. I'll just let Kendall speak for themselves here.
Okay.
Dear CNA, oh boy, it's finally happening. It's the 9th year of the podcast. It's the 9th year of the podcast? Is that right?
No. It started in 2017.
January 2017.
Eighth year of the podcast.
The podcast has been going for 8 years.
Yes.
Wait. It's the 9th year of the podcast.
It's a 9? What?
The podcast has been going for 8 years.
It's been going for 8 years.
There's
we
been
are
8
entering
years
the
of
9th year.
We're in the 9th year of the podcast.
Okay.
I don't know why we do this to ourselves every time. It's the 9th year of the podcast. We could have just not questioned it. And we're getting a look at a possible sci-fi future of the Sentinel comic setting. Shout out to everyone who submitted and or voted for this topic, and brace yourselves for all the questions in the world. And yes, I do want to be clear. This is a sci-fi setting. When we talk about, you see these people and we see the Legacy Twins and they're fighting against, everything is very futuristic, very City of the Future, like super future.
Yeah, like neon sort of cyberpunk, not like full on like grunge cyberpunk, but
right.
Like
No,
sleek.
I don't think this is another thing we talked about at all in the overview, which we should have.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think this is a dark future, nor do I think that this is an idyllic future. I think there are things that like, oh, look at Mordengrad, this beautiful shining city. And I think that they're like, oh, look at how, Megalopolis is now kind of like this city that is kind of caved in under its own weight. Not that it's like a Rook City sort of way, but in like a sci-fi New York City sort of situation.
So it's like Blade Runner there. A little bit more.
Yeah, but maybe with like less fog. Like with like you could see it. But it's just the idea of like the city just kept building and building and building and building. It's like Coruscant.
That I definitely view it. Was thinking of it like Coruscant, being like these buildings are so high that you can't see the streets. Right. The city is multiple cities on top of each other. Not to mention how wide it is at this point. Yeah. And it's but it's not just like built on the bones of previous cities. No, it's built on fully functioning. There are people who can live months of their life and never actually go see the sun, but they're fine with it because like, no, I have a big like I have a park that I go to that has sunlight in it, but it's not real sunlight. And the park you're in it looks like outside daytime, but that's because I'm in the park dome. Yeah. That is not even underground. It's above sea level, but it's under hundreds of stories under
of
two
buildings.
other cities. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, but I think that the setting is bright.
Mm-hmm.
I think the setting is optimistic. I think it's like, oh, the future. Mm-hmm. Wow. Like it's City of Tomorrow kind of feeling. Mm-hmm. But then we immediately upset that with the idea of like the people who were left behind, the new Baron Blade and other villains who are like this new future. This it's not a new future for them; it's their reality, right? But it's like this world doesn't have, and this is why we hearken back to things of the past. I do think we need to have a reason for having a Citizen Dawn, right? A reason for having.
If we have those specifically, I don't know that every villain here is going to be a version of another villain, but like,
I agree. But I do think that there is right. It's like we can create new villains all day, and we might, and we have, and we will. But I think there's also an amount of like the reason you do a setting like this is to be like, oh, and here is this future version of this one hero, villain, etc.
Yeah, I have some ideas for that, but let's go into that.
Anyway, okay. And now the letter begins. Let's start off with the setting itself. Are place names like Megalopolis, Rook City, and Mortograd still meaningful in the future? If so, how have the places changed? And if not, why not? Were they destroyed? Are they just too small to matter to the scale of the story being told here? Okay, great. So I shouldn't have bothered second guessing this letter. This letter gives us everything we need. We could have just started the whole episode with the letter. Megalopolis we just talked about, and I like that vision of it. And Mortograd we obviously talked about. Rook City maybe is like forgotten, or like there's
well, I was thinking of Rook City being like also actually I was thinking of Rook City being like reconstructed and called something else.
Right.
Like,
that's what I mean is like that that Rook City is forgotten. Like, the place where Rook City was, there's something else. And we solved this problem by getting rid of, oh no. I was saying we solved it, but what if it is like a car park, but not obviously that because we had, but what if it's a spaceport? What if it's like, you know what? Rather than trying to keep trying to reform this city and it keeps having problems, we say we tried that for over 100 more years. But then in the year 2212, we paved Rook City.
It was just like, get rid of it. Yeah.
And built a major giant spaceport situation because you needed that sort of thing for flying out into the stars and back and having spaceships land and get repaired and things like this. And so there's the Overbrook spaceport.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it called Overbrook? Like,
probably not. We'll probably lose that. Like I think it might just be called, I'm trying to think if there's anything. Yeah, there is actually. Yeah, it's the Montgomery spaceport.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like
great.
The Montgomery
because obviously she's not around anymore.
No, right. But the Montgomery name is definitely continued, and so the Montgomery spaceport is like, oh yeah, this is a private spaceport that was built by Montgomery Industries that is bigger than a city, and then became a standardized like public works. It's like, oh yeah, this was built by Montgomery Industries. And is now just the space, like one of the major spaceports.
Like it requires that people live there to operate it because it's so big.
Yeah,
but like,
right. It is a city. It is
a city still, but
it is a spaceport. Yeah. I imagine that it is more populated. I'm going to keep using Star Wars stuff than Cloud City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Right. Okay. Great. So yeah, Megalopolis is still Megalopolis. Mortograd is still Mortograd, and Rook City is the Montgomery spaceport. There's probably other places that are mentioned, but also, a place that we should probably talk about, but it might come up later. Let's save it. But a place that we should probably mention, Adam, is the ruins of Atlantis.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Right.
All right.
Like.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Keep going.
Yeah, that's what I said. We should save it for when we get into the Okay. Letter continues. In present-day stories, there's usually a notable dissonance between life on Earth and life in space. Aliens tend to have the means to travel between star systems or even galaxies rather than being confined to their own planet like us poor Earthlings. Has this changed in the future? Does the average person have more access to space travel? Have aliens started contacting humanity not just out of aggression or desperation, but to voluntarily form alliances and exchange goods and ideas? If so, what kinds of species have visited Earth or whatever location serves as the core of human civilization in this era? Are there notable populations of aliens living within that civilization? Okay, so like yes.
Yeah.
Way more space travel, people travel, and the solar system is populated at this point. We're going to spend most of these issues on Earth, but there's the idea that's like, oh, well, Earth, we have this big spaceport here. There's the Montgomery spaceport. But there are other spaceports on Earth, and those are necessary because you want to get to the hub, and you put the hub as much like I kind of want to. Yeah, you lean into it because you're not creating a sci-fi setting from scratch, right?
Right.
You're basing it on set of comics.
Yes.
So the hub, of course, of the solar system is the planet Wagner.
Oh, okay.
Used to be known as the planet Mars. That was a long time ago. Things have changed. There's the planet Wagner, and that is the hub.
The Wagner Corporation owns the planet.
Probably not. It's just named after.
It's just named after that. Okay.
Right. Because like Wagner Mars Base was the place that you went if you went to Mars for so long. They're just like, oh, we're going up to Wagner on Mars. And like Wagner became the colloquial, like the thing that everybody called the planet because that was how they interacted with it. Because Mars was no longer a thing that you talked about as a thing that was way over there or a thing that you looked at in a telescope, but a place that you went, a place you just stepped through a portal and went for work sometimes.
Yeah.
So you went to Wagner. So that place became Wagner. And then the Wagner Corporation comes and goes and maybe it still exists in some way, or maybe it's just like a welcome association for the planet. But the point of Wagner is not that, and a lot of people live there, but the point is it's not even a main living place of the solar system. There's other planets that have been terraformed in other ways and renamed in other ways.
It's the hub to other worlds. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's
All
Central Station.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could, in the course of a normal workday, go to multiple planets of the solar system.
Boy, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
Yep. And then aliens, yes.
Yeah.
Not just around as like, oh, they come to visit, but there is a notable percentage of the population of the solar system that is non-human.
I think that there's probably a lower number on Earth than most other planets in the solar system.
Earth is probably the most human
yeah.
planet in the solar system for historical reasons. But I would say that at least 10% of the Earth's population, if not closer to 20, is non-humans.
Yeah.
But I would say that like most of the solar system is probably like 60% human. And then Earth happens to be like 80% human. What kind of species have visited Earth or various other hubs?
Kind of all of them. Yeah.
Like lots of things we've seen that we've seen before, lots of things we've never seen before. And we get some weird aliens too. Because in this future setting, you can do a more sci-fi alien thing. We tend to do aliens are humanoids in Sentinel comics because of comic book superhero reasons, but you can in this series have a lot of aliens are all sorts of weird stuff.
Yeah,
you can get a good deal more out there, and they do.
Yeah.
How has the presence of superpowers influenced the future? Are powers more common among future humans than they are in the present? Have any one-of-a-kind origin stories been analyzed and replicated? How about comic book advanced technology like Baron Blade's impulsion beam for inciting movement at a distance, or Benchmark's advanced cybernetics? Have these innovations been shared with more of the world? Yes, they have. So technology like that definitely allows them to move from planet to planet and even like move planets around. We're like, you know what? If Venus were just a little bit closer, we could do some good terraforming.
Yeah.
So they can
it's just
stabilize.
A little too warm. We gotta,
They can stabilize orbits. They can clean up asteroid fields / mine them efficiently, and also like really reduce the dangers in interplanetary travel within the solar system. Outside, there's still the idea, the feeling I feel like this is that the solar system, the size and scope of the solar system in this book is essentially what Earth was.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Where in Sentinel Comics, usually you do most of your stuff in the United States for publication reasons, but you can go to the rest of the world, and then space is out there.
Right.
Now,
Earth is now the U.S. And
yeah.
But
and the solar system is the rest of the world, and then the rest of the galaxy is out there.
Yeah. I will say, I don't think that percentage-wise, superpowers are that much more prevalent.
I disagree.
I think no. I feel pretty strongly about this.
Okay,
that they should not be that much more prevalent.
Okay,
because it makes it less interesting.
Well, so here's what it doesn't have to be superpowers. I do think that we are starting to see an amount of human evolution, and it doesn't have to be from superpowers. It can be from like cybernetics and things.
Sure.
Because that's gonna like if we've got benchmark level stuff in the year 2000 or the early 2000s, by 2300 it's like okay. But I do think we want to start to approach the idea of metahumans, where humans, the regular human, as they're recognized here, are more advanced than the humans we have now.
How so?
Like just an amount of like
in what way? Yeah.
Well, the technology is integrated. It's just like the amount that a human now, that you and I have the ability to call up knowledge and do computation on our cell phones that outstrips anything that anybody could dream of in the early 1900s.
Yeah, I think that there's those technological advancements. I don't think that most of them have means of flying. I don't think that most have means of like energy projection, etc. Like
I agree, but I think that they don't
superpowers
need them.
that we think of as superpowers.
Right.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, but I think that you don't need them because you're like, oh, why would I need to fly? If I want to go somewhere, I just go to the local portal place and I step through a portal and I go into the place that I want to go. Like the idea of like flying around is like, that's cool, but also not actually super functional. I think that it's a lot of ways like superpowers in this world are a lot like we think of the character from not Sentinel Comics, from Marvel Comics, Cyclops. Who has a very, very cool superpower that if you're like, oh, do you want this superpower? It's like, well, I don't really know what I'd use it for though. Like,
I don't think so. I don't think you can just go get powers.
No. I'm not saying you could go get them. I never said that.
That's what you said. No? Do you want this?
No. I'm saying you, Adam, do you want the power that Cyclops has?
Sure.
Why? What are you doing with it?
I can fight crime with it.
Right. That's what you do with superpowers. That's what I'm saying. Is it like the superpower's utility is still fighting crime? And so the other stuff of like the way that humans advance is not to the point of having flying around shooting laser beams, because that's not actually useful to humans. That's not actually would it be a better society if everybody could shoot laser beams? No. That wouldn't be helpful. Would it be a better society if everybody could fly? No, that wouldn't be helpful. But we should have transportation. Like, so like this is the way that humans advance, is not by having superpowers, but by having technological answers to so many things that they feel like they would never need for such things. But then when big threats come, you need the people with superpowers to fight those threats.
Okay. All right. Yes, I agree with you on that. Okay,
great. Good. I was not saying you could go to a store and buy eye lasers.
Okay. All right. It seems like that's what you're saying.
No, I was offering it to
the
you.
only reason that people didn't have it was because it's trivial to get it.
No, it's not that it's trivial to get it. It's that it is the utility of their lives is one where like humans have advanced in a way where like if the world was constantly under attack from the year 1999 to the year 2350, if it was constantly under attack from alien species that were flying in here attacking humanity might have evolved in a way where everybody had offensive fighty superpowers. But that's not the case.
Right.
Instead, we have an evolution of like, technology, the sort of things your phone could do, but more integrated into yourself, and then the extrapolations of that where you get. But the main things being about transportation. And I do think we have like a kind of a post-scarcity society where it's not like the idea of everyone's out there working.
I feel like post-scarcity means post-conflict also, though, like in terms of superhero stories.
I don't know about that because like what we already, our first one with Baron Blade isn't the idea of like, right,
but you can't do the same thing with all of them.
Sure, but I do think we can get beyond the idea of everybody has to work a 9-to-5 job for making
I don't think in 2000 you do. Like even that's true, and even like the Matrix, like that's
but what I'm saying is we're not doing the Matrix. What we're doing is closer to Star Trek, and Star Trek is a post-scarcity society.
Okay, that's fine. I don't think this is closer to Star Trek. I think it's closer to Blade Runner than Star Trek.
Okay,
I like Star Trek is way too idyllic for where this world is because you don't need superheroes in Star Trek.
Right? No, I see what you're saying.
You don't have bank robbers in Star Trek. You should have bank robbers in this. You know,
sure. Okay. So perhaps more. I think that we just evolved in the way that we have now. Where it's like, okay, well, nowadays here in the 1900s, in the 1990s, when this book is coming out, we now have the 40-hour work week and the idea of vacations, which is
I think you're thinking about a lot of things that this book does not address. Also,
yeah, you're right.
But
that's what I want to do, Adam.
This is very deep.
I want to build this entire world.
That's great. This is not the book to do this in. You have 6 issues to show a bunch of superhero action in.
You're 100% correct.
So
you're 100% correct.
I applaud your deep thinking.
I really want to write hard science fiction.
Okay. This is not hard sci-fi. This is soft sci-fi. This is about as soft as it gets. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I know you're disappointed. Do you want to continue the letter?
The next question is going to be like, tell me about all the hard sci-fi elements. Like, I'm back.
Oh my God. It's not good. Like, I just read the next line. So,
what about magic?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, remember there's magic.
In the present day of Sentinel Comics, it's very believable that most humans live their entire lives without encountering any evidence of magic or the supernatural. The few spellcasters and magical creatures that exist on Earth keep their secrets to themselves, often including their very existence. As technology makes our society more and more connected, however, it will seem likely that our knowledge of the world around us will increase, as will the ability to spread that knowledge. It's not too far-fetched to imagine someone with real magical talent posting video tutorials for basic spellcasting on the internet in a comic book version of today's world. So how many notable magical uncertainties have become public knowledge in the decades or centuries leading up to this story's era? Is the average human aware of the realities of magic? Ley lines, the realm of discord, the void, werewolves, pixies, the fae, Atlantis? No.
Yeah, I haven't thought about this.
Me too.
Yeah.
As the world continues, magic becomes not like more like less and less believed in, to the point of the weakening of things to where like the fae are like, we just keep the door shut. We don't, we interact even less, and people have a harder time interacting with magic because why reach out for magical power when your integrated cybernetics can do the thing you would need to reach out for power for?
Right.
So like the things that people like, there are still people who do magic, but it's way less known. And I think that magic is forgotten in a lot of ways, to the point that I think that we're going to have at least one issue of this that involves somebody doing magical thing, and people being like, whoa, this is as if you have resurrected some like cave person idea.
Yeah. I think what I think I would like to do with that issue, and maybe we just do this now, is make like a teenager fall into a world of magic, essentially, that you're just average, like, I just watch the Neo TV and inject my shows into my
and then you go ride your hover skateboard,
and I ride my hover skateboard, and I have my hat backwards, and
but your hat's different.
But my hat is it glows, it has neon things on it,
it has like the brim is angled
it's
and straight, like, and anyway, but I think we have an issue where this person does this, ends up in the Fey realm or something. Anyway, the direction I want to go with this person is, let's make this person a virtuoso of the void.
Oh, new virtuoso. Yeah.
It's 1999.
Yeah,
we don't have Akash 3 yet, or any idea that that's happening. Right?
That's true.
We have Akash Buddha, and we've put Akash Buddha to bed.
Was that 99 or 98? I thought that might have happened.
I thought Akash 3 happened in 2002. Let's look.
Maybe
it's knowable. It's entirely knowable. Akash 3 is 2002. Nice. I was right.
Okay.
So the point being, here in the 1999 when we're writing this, Akash 3 is not on anybody's radar. If some writer has the idea of that what will later turn into that, great, but it's a mere kernel.
Okay.
Akash Buddha has been put to bed by the Prime Warden's event and then later the Akash Mecha stuff, but that doesn't say, that doesn't give a date of like, hundreds of years in the future. Of course, Akash Buddha will be back, but she's going to be like really slumbering maybe the entire time, and especially with this technology, blah, blah, blah. But we have this person who
what if you have, what if you leave Akash Buddha out of it and you have this person become a virtuoso for entirely different reasons?
I love that.
That like maybe the Fae Court goes, hey, look, magic is waning. This is bad. We need to like.
Yeah. They fall into the Fae Court, the Fae realm, and we get to see we can't do the Fae Court, Adam.
Why not?
Okay, we formalized the Fae Court in Dark Watch.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, but
yeah.
Like we could do something there.
You can interact with face stuff. You could. Now, I think we should turn all the way back around again. I think that we shouldn't say no Akash Buddha.
Okay.
I think that this person should fall into some magical realm, some magical like pocket, and Akash Buddha is there and speaks to them. It's like, I have slumbered for centuries.
The earth is poisoned, and magic is dying. And
magic is dying.
Yeah.
And while you are doing, honestly, a great job for your species, and you're not doing the worst job you've ever done for like the Earth's continued existence, but the thing, because like Akash Buddha has always been a stop polluting the world, stop destroying the world character, which is why when Akash Buddha gets like fully villainized and then dealt with, you have to introduce the naturalist.
Yeah.
In this era, we can have Akash Buddha be look, I'm not here to complain about humans. I'm not here to complain about pollution. I'm here to be like, hey, magic is dying, and magic is actually what keeps the world working. There's certain unexplained things that don't make any sense, and that the explanation is magic, and this loss of magic. You don't need to go out there and like make a whole bunch of new magicians. That's not the answer. But someone has to help control and take care of magic. And this is where we get Akash Buddha making this kid like, is like, and here's what I could do for you. I don't really know how else to do it, but I have this thing that I, in my slumbers, managed to recover. And it's Arjun Adams' flute.
Yeah.
And it's like,
it's the pipes. Yeah.
Right. And it's like, this is the situation. Like, there was a time in my existence in which I fought against bearers of these instruments.
Yeah.
Many have been destroyed. All have been lost. I saved this one. I kept this one. You know, my ancient foe wielded this against me, but now this is all that's left of him. And, you know, I give it to you.
So you have like this old mentor, this withered
tree.
Yeah.
Like, this could even be a thing that leads to people like, oh, cool. What do we do a person size Akash Buddha thing? And this is just Akash Buddha, but it's just like this little withered miniature tree lady.
Yeah, I think that like the way I'm envisioning it is like almost like an underground cave, and there's a tree going through it, and Akash Buddha can't move from that. And it's just like,
and maybe she's big. I could just see it like it being a big cavern, and she's like fills the whole thing, but she's withered and malnourished. Yeah, and she
like
sends
you need to restore the magics. Yeah,
she sends. She's like, you are a virtuoso of the void. That is your calling. Otherwise, you couldn't have found your way here. I have been using the wind that blows through these caverns, funneling it through these pipes. And whoever hears that sound, like he was skateboarding along on his hover skateboard.
So has there not been another virtuoso?
Not in hundreds of years.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And a problem. And we were not writers rooming these. Anyway, but she sends him to the ruins of Atlantis to draw the last vestiges of power, of magical power, into this world, which will cause upheaval, but is necessary. Okay, cool.
Great. Okay.
So I don't know if that's issue 2. It's not issue 3. It
that seems like a 4.
Right. I love it as a 4, which we get new virtuoso of the void.
Some punk kid.
Mentor Akash Buddha. Now, here's a question about this new virtuoso. I don't mean Steve.
What's his color name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have his own musical instrument. I think that's fine.
This might be the first one just called the Virtuoso of the Void.
We just call him the Virtuoso of the Void. He goes to the. She's like, you have to find your instrument, and you have to find your connection to magical power. He goes to the ruins of Atlantis and takes up an Atlantean artifact as his conduit.
I mean, okay.
Oh my God, I got it. That's it. That's for sure it. Adam.
Yes.
This person's job.
Yeah.
Akash Buddha has a slightly different message for them. The name unlocked it for me.
Okay.
Akash Buddha is like, hey, I have these pipes, and I've been funneling the wind of these caves through the pipes, and whoever could hear it, and he heard it out in the world, and like, oh no, like it was drawn to him. He was drawn to it. It's like, you're the last person who could be a virtuoso of the void. Here's the problem: the winds that I've been blowing through this cavern through this thing are the ghost of magic. Magic is dead.
Oh, it's
magic
dead
is
entirely.
not dying. Magic is dead.
Okay.
Yes. Now I got it right. Okay. Sorry. Remember this kid, super futuristic, right?
Yeah.
Skateboard, hoverboard, hat, hard light. This kid is like, you guys go on this journey to revive magic, to resurrect magic.
Right.
Can't do it.
Can't at all?
No, goes like ruins of Atlantis, and like there's all these like remnants of magic, but but magic is dead.
It's shattered and its pieces are.
And he's like, oh well, from the powers that I've gotten, I'm not writers rooming this anyway. He's like, well, if I can't resuscitate magic, I can raise it from the dead.
Oh,
he is the neon necromancer.
Oh. Jeez. Okay. Yeah, that's rad.
He's a necromancer because he's like, oh, magic is dead, so I'm bringing it back. He can't unkill magic. but you can bring it back.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
The Neon Necromancer. Oh, yeah. He is both rad and actually awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool.
Anyway,
let's keep
okay.
moving.
What about magic? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, great. We've talked about that. Have any supernatural creatures chosen to drop the masquerade and live openly among humans? If so, how are they received? If not, how are they maintaining their secrecy against the rise of information technology? So no, and like many of them die out as a result. And I think the idea that we introduced here in issue 4 that magic is dead is the thing that you get through the first 3 issues of like, okay, great, technology, space, sci-fi, superpowers for some people, for like, still fairly limited, similarly limited amount of people, but the average person has way more information and ability to learn and ability to like affect personal growth through just pushing some buttons. So like, great. Those first 3 issues tell you that. And issue 4 is like, hey, by the way, what about magic? And the answer is, oh, it's dead.
Yeah.
But this guy's going to bring it back. I don't think we get a capitalization on that other than the Neon Necromancer shows up in issue 6 is like, dead magic. And it's like, oh, that's cool. Like, and since it's a Neon Necromancer, we can have the music be like, he flips around the skateboard and blasts music through the skateboard and is like undead neon waves. Like, that's cool.
That is
it
cool.
It manages to do the dorky thing in a cool way.
Yeah.
Like,
it's certainly dorky, but it's cool. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay, great. Now on to individuals and the legacies they leave behind. We are less than halfway through this letter. Okay.
Oh my God.
This letter is what we need.
Yeah.
Has the line of powered members of the Parsons family extended all the way into this future era? Is it still propagating as usual, with only one powered individual per generation possessing all the abilities of the predecessor and more? If so, just how many powers does the latest legacy have, and what challenges are left for them to face? If not, what happened to the Parsons? What tragedy wiped them out? Or what new shape has their gift taken? We're not going to talk about the Parsons.
Yep.
We will not answer your question.
We won't talk about it at all. Yeah.
Do Virtuos of the Void still seek out and train those with potential to succeed them and pass down their knowledge and power through instruments? What is the latest Virtuoso like? What challenges do they face? Is their ancient enemy still envisioned as Akash Buta in the future, or is she a transition into Akash 3 or some new and different form? We refuse to talk about...
I love heading off questions. It's great.
So now that you've nailed those 2 things...
Yeah.
What's the next thing you say that we haven't talked about? Because let's find out. Does the line of Omnitron continue? If so, for good, for evil, or both? What interactions are the latest model? What role do they play in the world? Okay, let's talk about that. Omnitron, good point. I think, not to put a lot of time, I don't think we spend a lot of time on Omnitron. I think Omnitron is a planet in the solar system.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. We have, there's just a planet, Omnitron. Yeah.
One of the planets is Omnitron.
Yeah.
And it is a planet where like a lot of useful production happens, but Omnitron is neither good nor evil, nor is it...
I think it's also could be like the central processor of the entire solar system also. It manages all of the computer systems through everything. And
yeah, you know how you have these phones that you can text with somebody on a planet on the other side of the sun? That's because of Omnitron.
Because of Planet Omnitron.
Planet Omnitron.
Yes.
Planet Omnitron, it probably gets introduced in issue 2 because issue 1 is like, okay, legacies, Baron Blade, great.
I have an idea for a space thing in one of these that we could put that in whatever issue that ends up.
Yeah, I think it's issue 2 because I think that issue 2 needs to be like, okay, now you understand the broad strokes of what we're doing. Yeah. Here's world building. Issue 2 needs to be like, issue 2 is where we learn about Planet Wagner, Planet Omnitron, and like Planet Wagner was Mars and is now called Wagner. Planet Omnitron is not any of the extant planets. It's Omnitron all the way through. It is like there was some space trash, and then we got some robots there, and then Omnitron like took it over, and then Omnitron maybe even fought against humans for a while, and then Omnitron's like actually symbiosis, and then symbiosis. Yeah. And I think that there's even like, there could be a bit of darkness to it about like the idea of like, actually, once everybody had cybernetics installed in them, which pretty much everybody does, like everybody became a little bit Omnitron and Omnitron became a little bit everybody. And then there was no more war between us and Omnitron because we are all Omnitron. Omnitron wins, but not in a bad way.
Not in like the I've exterminated everybody way. Yeah.
No, just an I am everybody and everybody is me. So everybody has like a little bit of everybody is Omnitron actually.
Yeah. Gross. I hate that.
Right? It's but that's the way we get this sci-fi future.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. What new holders of the relics of the Egyptian gods are out there? Do they interact with their powers differently? Do they play different roles in the setting than their predecessors? I think
do
we might
touch
not.
on Egypt? Yeah,
I don't think we do, because I think that is one of the things we see in issue 4. Like issue 4 is going to be where we put all of the supernatural stuff.
Mhm.
And I think that in part of that, like one of the things that the Neon Necromancer does probably before he takes that name is like, oh, like Akash Buddha tells tales of like, oh, what about Night Mist's power? Nah. What about there was this Ra, the god of the sun? Maybe there's other Egyptian relics, and you can go
There
find
used to
them.
be
And they
these
just
realms that people traveled between, and like that's
and it's all lost.
yeah.
Yeah. Do we see a new incarnation of the Phoenix? Has anything changed in their psychic of death, rebirth, power, and madness?
No, we don't see
I
that.
doubt that gets mentioned at all in this. There's not a lot of time, and if it been mentioned anywhere, there might be a super minor mention of one of the things Akash Buddha says
Mhm.
about entities of power, but a lot of the ley line stuff, not the Phoenix is, but to extrapolate beyond that, a lot of the ley line stuff gets explained after this too,
Mhm.
in the mid-aughts. So I think that we don't have a Phoenix or a ley lines thing in this.
I don't think so.
story.
Yeah.
Other than like, oh, you must follow the ley lines. Like all the ley lines are severed. All the ley lines lead to nothing. They're not even severed. They're just they're inert.
Mhm.
Yeah, Magic is Dead is a super cool hook for this.
Yeah.
Because they'd be like, well, how does somebody interact with dead magic? Neon Necromancer. Anyway, sorry. I was looking through lists of magician names.
Yeah.
Like shaman and soothsayer and stuff like that. And I was like, nah. And I saw Necromancer. I'm like, Necromancer's cool, but I don't want to call him the Navy Necromancer. Like, what colors? And I was looking through color words, and it got neon. I'm like, that's it, that's done.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Okay, do the Citizens of the Sun still exist in some form, with or without their original leader or another from her bloodline? Let's talk about Citizens of the Sun. This
Yeah.
is one that I think does show up. I think we have something.
Yeah, I think that the Citizens of the Sun are a church.
Okay.
That
They're a sect.
kind of worship Citizen Dawn. Like I'm thinking, like maybe not necessarily her, but like
they worship
she's
the Dawn.
like their prophet, or like
They worship the Dawn.
yeah.
So these are people that work. But if we do that, which I don't hate, it means they worship superpowers.
Yeah, I don't think that's bad. I think that in a future setting like this is like is interesting.
And so do you think that they are a church or a cult? The only difference between the two is it is in execution for whether or not they're going to be good guys or bad guys.
I think they're I think they're a church. I don't think I don't think they're inherently bad guys. I don't think they're good guys though either.
Right. So what they are then is there people who are like, oh, rather than worshiping some imaginary sky god, we worship the idea that there are people who walk among us who have powers, and those people in times of need will use those powers to make a difference. And so instead of praying to some entity that may or may not exist outside of the multiverse or whatever, they pray to the concept that there are people with powers that can make a difference. This is a perfectly reasonable religion.
Yeah.
Like the idea that you're like, hey, I don't hope that something somewhere somehow will hear my prayers and then do something mysterious and then things will. It's like, no, I really hope somebody with powers solves the problem.
There are probably like sects within that are like, oh, I'm praying that I get powers also.
Sure,
I'm praying
right.
like
yeah, and I think that there's probably like pretty early on established in the Church of the Dawn. It's probably called the Church of the Dawn. That way, it's the Citizens of the Sun, but we like sidestep some of its history. And there's and like I think its history is largely forgotten. But if people do some searching back, they're like, bad start. I was like, yeah, but good now. And there's a teaching that's like wanting/seeking powers yourself is not the way to go. That's not what you want to do. You should be
be grateful
joyful
for those with powers. Yes.
That there are people who have powers. And if it's us, great. But if it's not us, that's fine. There are people with powers, and that's what's good. Okay, great. This gets introduced somewhere, not the first issue, probably not the second issue if we're going to do space world building stuff there. Maybe issue 3, since we're going to have the Legacy Twins come back and do a Galvanize at some point.
Sure.
I
don't know what the main villain there is. This just seems like something that's in there.
Yeah, right. I think the Church of the Dawn is a world building thing they just tossed in there, and issue 3 seems a good place for it. So I've put it there for now. Okay, does Maria Elena sail this far along the timeline? Either La Capitana or La Commodora. Has Chrono Ranger or another conscript been dispatched here to protect the timeline?
I don't think we get any time travel stuff here.
Have La Capitana yet. La Capitana was introduced after this book.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think we have any time travel stuff here anyway.
No.
We don't have time for it.
There's always time for time travel. It makes its own time.
Yeah.
No, I don't think we do. I think that this world gets visited. This time gets visited by
in Desperation.
Locomotora
Yeah.
and Chrono Ranger later. Like we definitely get a revisit of it, and that is an issue. We could definitely do a writer's room at some point if people wanted it. But I think that in this 6-issue limited series, that's not time travel is not touched on.
Yeah.
Does Revacorp still exist? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think Revacorp is probably like the biggest evil corporation in the world that turns out supervillains still. Like
I think Revacorp is the bad guy organization in the first issue, because the first issue opens in the middle of a fight with Legacies.
Yeah.
And I think the Legacies are fighting Revacorp stuff.
Yeah.
And then we have the Baron Blade stuff at the end of that issue.
Yeah.
So and I think that Revacorp at this point is unabashedly evil corporation.
Yeah.
Whereas nowadays it's like, yeah, evil corporation, but it pretends like it's not. It's just not that good at pretending.
Yeah, they could just get away with just being like, this is a big genetics corporation that's making supervillains. That's what we do.
And they have enough money and power to carve out an amount of space of you can't just stop us.
Yeah.
What about Montgomery Industries? We talked about that. Spaceport, right? Mm-hmm. Ekin Rubendahl Labs? Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know about that. What fates have befallen the Court of Blood or Filter or the Cult? The Court of Blood or Filter or the Cult of Gloom? Court of Blood and Cult of Gloom we can talk about in issue 4.
Yeah, I like issue 4 teasing Gloomweaver awakening. Also, like
at the very end of it.
At the very end, yeah, which doesn't come to anything in this limited series, but like,
right, yeah, I think the idea of like the Neon Necromancer bringing to unlife magic creates this stirring outside of reality of like,
amongst Eternus, amongst
we just see like the skull, but with no fire. You see the skull like laying there discarded on the ground, and just a little tiny finger of green flame appear flicker, of the Neon Necromancer's bringing magic to life. Is like, oh yeah, really? Yeah,
great.
Oh, Filter. I think we don't get Filter because Filter is kind of dimension hoppy stuff, and I think that this reality doesn't touch on that.
Right.
A, it's early for that. B, it's a 6-issue limited series. We're just in this reality.
Yeah.
Okay, are there any of the following present-day immortals or potential immortals still around in the future? If so, what are they up to? Obviously, some of them may not exist here, depending on how much of what we know of the story has been told in the metaverse as of this series' publication date. Here we go. Absolute Zero. At the top of the list of immortals, and like, many arguments, Absolute Zero is immortal.
Here's the thing about all of these that because we can go through this list and hem and haw about all of them, and I don't think that's.
I think that all of them are going to be very rapid fire, with the exception of this one. This one I think is worth talking about.
Well, I think there's 2 that are worth talking about.
Okay,
which is this one and Haka, and I think that we should we should have one of them as an old mentor figure. And like, this is the only opportunity actually ever to have old Haka, because this is before his mythos is established as.
That's true. We can't do it later. Because I was going to say there's a good argument for making old Absolute Zero because it's more different. We've seen different old Hakas, but no, you're right. That's true. That doing this as old Haka is cool. Okay.
So like, I mean, I think it's between those 2.
Well, but so the other thing is I do think we need a nod to both one way or another. And we can have old Haka somewhere. Old Haka showing up in issue 3 makes a lot of sense.
Sure.
Yeah, old Haka being this like wise, old, still powerful guy who people who get powers and are like, oh shoot, I have powers I don't know, like frequently find themselves he's kind of scholar. He's scholarly now. Where he shows up, he's like, I will help you become you. That's great for Haka, and having Haka be, and then that's the issue in which we see Church of Dawn stuff talked about. That makes sense. We see Legacies do a Galvanize. That makes sense. Like that issue is issue 1 is Legacies and Baron Blade. Issue 2 is sci-fi stuff, the solar system. Issue 3 is the state of superpowers in this world. Issue 4 is magic. Issue 5, we're not sure what that one is yet. Probably it's some sort of conflict thing leading to issue 6, the big conflict and everything. Okay, great.
Okay.
Absolute Zero. I think that there's an idea that we get from issue 1 or maybe issue 2 that in Megalopolis there is like this statue or shrine or something to the memory of the Freedom Five. Even though it's a long time ago, this is still
it's a big deal. Yeah.
And this is Sentinel Comics, and so like we'd have the idea of remembering the Freedom Five with the idea like, oh, all 5 of these are super gone, right?
Yeah.
Like they all left their impact on the world. You know, Meredith Stinson technology is a big part of why the world works the way it does now.
Yeah.
They all saved the world. We now know that Maya Montgomery was the Wraith, and like she did all this stuff. Great, all these things. And like Ryan Frost, Absolute Zero, is one of these heroes. Great, all save the world. And they're all gone. And then in issue 5 or maybe 6, in the course of this fight with various big heroes, big villains against various heroes that we've pulled back in here, we break/go into this shrine/statue of the Freedom Five, and Absolute Zero is just in there.
Oh, gee, like just in hibernation.
And he's just like yeah, and he's just like, I found out I could never die. I went on and on after the Freedom Five were gone, and then after I was like, I can't do it anymore. Can we find some way to just put me to sleep so I don't have to?
That's sad, but yeah.
I mean, we can't not do a sad Absolute Zero thing,
right? Yeah.
But then waking him up I think in issue 6, waking him up like accidentally, but then him being like, well, fine, and so now having Absolute Zero there at the final end of the final conflict.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I have some thoughts.
Okay. Go hit me
on some things. I think that issue 5 should be a new Wraith.
Oh, that's cool. So then we have
like with a completely different origin and like
sure. So we've resurrected Legacy, not Tachyon, not Bunker, yes Wraith, and then Absolute Zero, but like
right.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that
those are the 2 big heroes, the most marketable are Legacy and Wraith.
Yeah. And then doing an Argent Adap thing and letting the Neon Necromancer have some Night Mist-esque stuff.
Yeah.
Feels like that
ties to the old heroes there, but not a version of them.
Right. New Wraith. Do you want to try to make that now, or do you want to let that be emergent over letters in case it happens?
Let's keep going.
Okay, but I do agree. It's interesting saving Wraith all the way to 5. Is that okay? Do you want to swap?
I think so.
Do you want to swap 5 and 3?
I think that it's a good payoff because people go like, they're gonna do a Wraith, right? They're gonna where's Wraith? Yeah.
And so that what you do is you have, and the new Wraith isn't at all the old Wraith, and so you get through an entire story, and at the end of that story, you're like, oh, this is Wraith.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, let's see what gets slotted in as we go. All right. I'm going to rapid fire this letter or this list of names because most of them we've already talked about / don't have something interesting.
Okay.
With each one, give me a 1 to 3 word response to what happened to them. I'll tell you if I disagree, but I think that we're on the same page on everything. Here we go.
Okay.
Aeon Girl.
Doesn't exist yet.
Antimox.
Doesn't exist yet.
Apostate.
Not pictured.
Dead. Apostate is magic. Yeah. Magic is dead.
Oh yeah, magic's dead. Yeah.
Biomancer.
Dead.
Blood Countess Bathory.
Dead.
The Chairman.
Dead.
Yeah, well, certainly dead. Certainly dead. Yeah. Do we have any organizations sense? Maybe like, oh, we do. This is dumb. In issue 1, Adam, they deal with this thing that is the source of all the bad guys, and it's called the Revacorp organization.
Oh yeah, just meld it. That's fine. Yeah.
Yep, because you only have 6 issues, and so you do some smashes, and so the chairman, the chairman's legacy gets absorbed by Revacorp,
right?
Which would upset him greatly. But yeah, he's like, nah, we can commercialize crime.
Yeah.
Dr. Medico
doesn't exist yet.
Fanatic,
dead.
Yeah. Mr. Fixer,
dead.
Same as he ever was.
Yeah.
Not always, but Gloomweaver,
we talked about.
Grim,
dead.
Guys.
Guys
is a weird one.
Guys were, I think, just not pictured. I think just not addressed.
Not addressed is fair because his tone is so different.
Yeah.
Okay. Haka we talked about. Yep. Madame Mittermeier.
Dead.
Muerto.
Doesn't exist yet.
Necrosis.
Dead.
I don't know about that.
I don't think Necrosis is immortal. I don't think
immortal. Well, again, it doesn't have to be Necrosis himself. It could be a different take on Necrosis or an effect of Necrosis. I do think that Necrosis is not pictured. I don't think we get into Necrosis stuff. When I say dead, like for apostate, I don't necessarily mean that person is dead. I mean the idea of that person is dead.
Okay,
right. And I think with Necrosis, it's not dead, pictured. But it's not pictured.
Yeah,
Night Mist,
dead.
The Operative,
dead.
Quetzalcoatl
doesn't exist yet.
Right. Schema.
I think also doesn't exist yet.
Correct. The Scholar.
Dead.
Yep. Spite.
Not pictured.
Not pictured.
Yeah.
Maybe something with spites for
There
issue
could
5?
be a version of Spite. Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's a right era to be like, hey, and also there's a spite comes back.
What if we keep cloning this monster
A spite comes back is not a bad starting hook for issue 5.
for a Wraith? Yeah.
Yeah. I'll toss that in here as a maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe a spite comes back. That's not a bad place for issue 5 to come back from. Writhe.
Doesn't exist yet.
Zhulong.
I think he's dead. Because magic is what keeps him alive.
Right. I think Zhulong is the answer to what unlocks the Neon Necromancer.
Oh, okay.
I think you go to the ruins of Atlantis, and there you find like the final writing of Zhulong. Zhulong dies and passes out. He's like, magic is dying, and with it I go. I leave this as a record.
I'm not capable of resuscitating magic, but this is how it might be like.
Or just like this is the truth that magic is dead. Once you accept this truth, you can begin to do something about it.
Yeah.
And instead of being like, oh no, how do I undo this? There is no undoing it. So yeah. So anyway, Zhulong being dead is cool.
Yeah.
The letter continues. The following are more shots in the dark, but please let me know if any of them are still around and of any significance. Argentium.
No.
Not pictured.
Not pictured.
I think probably dead.
Probably
It's just
dead.
yeah. Balturinarak.
Dead.
Yeah. Demiurge.
Dead.
Yeah. Diamond Diva.
Dead.
Magic stuff. Facelift. I don't think it exists yet.
Yeah.
General Geist.
General Geist could be used. So I'm just going to say not pictured.
I think not pictured. I don't think we get
but
into
like
General
with
Geist.
doing necromancy, if you like dwelled in this world for a long time and
That's
you
right.
ran a
if this
series
were an ongoing
here,
series,
yeah,
right.
General Geist would be a part of that for sure. I bet.
Potentially. Yeah. Ruin is magic stuff.
Yeah.
Shuan Zhang is magic stuff.
Yeah.
Tantrum is just a person.
Just a person. Yeah. Who cares?
I feel confident that Wager Master, being a singular entity, is out there somewhere, but has his modus operandi changed over the intervening years, or has he fallen from his former status somehow? If so, how? Does he have a replacement to represent the primal force of chaos? No. So we don't see, for the same reason we don't see guys, we don't see Wager Master.
Yeah.
He's a singular entity, so he definitely could be around doing stuff. A Wager Master story, like, there's that wouldn't be a bad hook for the Desperation story of La Caballeota and Chrono Ranger visiting this thing is Wager Master doing something. That could work. But it's not necessarily the direction we'd go.
Yeah.
Who can say? But it's certainly not covered in these 6 issues. Because Wager Master is the thing you add when you're playing with these issues. And right now, this is all introduction.
Right.
Anyway, I'm sure you'll tell us about the new heroes and villains that populate the version of the setting, and I'll be back after the episode to ask more about them and their stories. We talked a little bit about them, but yeah. Immensely disappointed if you make this a Final Wasteland or other post-apocalyptic scenario where nothing is improved. We didn't do that.
News. Yeah.
Thank you, Kindle, aka Bart K.N.Y.F., for writing the longest letter, and yet.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It was worth it. It was worth it.
This letter is from Davriel, Student of Knowledge, who writes, "Hello, Christopher. Hello, Adam. I'm sure some of these will have been covered in the bulk of the episode, but I've been itching to hear about this topic for months, so I'm just going to rapid fire some of the broad stroke questions I've had in mind this whole time. You can just breeze through any which were already answered." Okay. Number 1, what decade of the real metaverse did this far future first appear? We talked about that. It's 1999.
Yeah. That's when we published it.
Yes. Number 2.
And technically also the year 2000.
Yeah. 99 to 2000 is when it first appeared. Number 2, when was it most common? I think
when was
that
it most common.
Yeah.
When was it?
I think there's probably 1 or 2 other appearances of it later. So I guess technically this is most common is during the 6-issue limited series.
For sure, it's most common here because, there'll be other appearances, but this is just a 6-issue limited series, and it doesn't show up more than 6 times.
Yeah.
So it's most common right now.
Yeah. Number 3, if this ended up being more of a future equivalence of current time heroes type of far future a la 2099, are there any notable, completely unique heroes? I feel like there should be at least one of the 5 issues should be a unique hero. Neon Necromancer is kind of unique, but
kind of
is still kind of derivative.
Right. I think that the place for that is issue 3. I think that issue 2, because we don't know what heroes get. Like we talked about issue 5 being Wraith. Okay?
Yeah.
Fine. Issue 4 is Neon Necromancer. Issue 1 is the Legacy Twins. Issues 2 and 3, we don't know who gets introduced.
Mm-hmm.
Issue 2, I think, maybe is a Captain Cosmic?
Yeah,
Because
I was
we're
thinking of doing a Captain Cosmic also. That I don't really have any ideas other than someone should be a Captain Cosmic.
Well, but here's a question. Should someone be a Captain Cosmic, or should someone be a Captain Cosmic equivalent space hero but doesn't actually harken back to Captain Cosmic at all?
Yeah, Captain Cosmic being a multi-character name seems like you do that, but
I do think doing a Captain Cosmic makes sense, because then with issue 3 you have old Haka mentoring a brand new character, completely brand new, actually brand new.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
And so that way, and then you have the Legacy Twins. One of them galvanized that brand new hero. It's kind of like giving them this like legitimacy.
Yeah.
So if we get to the recap without any letter sparking a answer or an extrapolation of why that Captain Cosmic with that new hero is during the recap, we will fill that information in a bit more.
Yeah. The recap will be the tying up loose ends section.
Yeah.
Also,
but at this point, like, we have very few loose ends. I feel like so.
Yeah. Are there any characters from this far future that ended up being permanently transposed to the main continuity as lesser C or D list hero or villain? Do we have anyone from this continuity that's brought to the main reality?
I don't think so.
That's not outlandish post-Oblivion, but
no,
not
post-Oblivion, very possible, because a lot of this stuff shows up at Oblivion for sure.
Yeah, but it's also like we might get another limited series in this timeline, like post-Oblivion, going like this is what's happening outside in the vein of Prime War stuff and like.
Right. I don't think before Oblivion, any of the characters from here become
fixtures,
regular fixtures of the canon timeline.
Yeah.
Universe 1.
Yeah. Had any of the characters from it or the setting itself appeared in recent comics before the Oblivion wind-up started, or had it been fairly left to the wayside in the modern era? I think that, Desperation, we saw some.
Yeah.
And I think this is pretty well regarded.
Yeah, I do too. Partially because I'm very proud of it already.
Number 6, considering the extent of the animated shows and movies in the metaverse, what adaptations did this far future get? A short-run kids show, a 1 or 2 off straight-to-DVD movies?
I was going to say nothing, but there's certainly at least like the ongoing animated show certainly like visits this place at least once, because you would.
There. I don't mind a straight-to-DVD movie, like just a
or a straight-to-Netflix.
Yeah,
is the way you do it now. Is you do or whatever
in
streaming
the aughts,
services.
it would have been
Sentinels Plus.
Yeah, Sentinels Plus. There's just a streaming service
Plus show.
just for Sentinels.
Yeah.
Is there a goofy but strong character from the far future that could be considered analogous to the distinguished competitions Schmatter, Schmeater, Schmad?
Matter Eater Lad.
Oh.
Yeah, it's Lantern.
Yeah.
I think Lantern is a little goofy. I think Lantern is goofy and Beacon is serious.
Yeah, I think they're both lighter tone in general, but like
when I say serious, I don't mean
he's
dour.
Yeah.
But I think that he's like, and she's like, come on, man, focus.
Take it. Yeah. Keep it together. We're on a job. And he's like,
everything's a job to you.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump through this portal.
A job can still be fun.
Yeah. He's like, he'll do a thing where he's like, make a portal, jump through like cannonball through the portal and like land on somebody else somewhere else. Like he's, I think he's a little like, he's not like guys, but I think he's a little silly.
Yeah. Number 8. Yeah. What, if anything, has Sentinel Comics, the publishing entity, done with this far future branding and IP and characters since the sandwich baggening? Obviously, they can't be involved in the main continuity now, and Desperation is doing other things. So has this far future been abandoned, spun off into a completely unrelated thing, which is not actively branded the same anymore? We need to talk about that more off the air is a thing, because
does something happen with this?
Do we want to sustain this? Do we want to destroy it and put it in Prime War? Do it like
right? But I don't think there's no like it becomes part of the main stuff, and that's all we can say for sure for now.
That's all the broad strokes questions I have for now. I'll definitely have more to ask about once the episode is out and we have more details to go off of. Absolutely love these types of settings for fiction. The ways in which they parallel and differ from the present of the settings are always fascinating. And I love me some creative processes. Don't get me wrong, the writers' rooms are fantastic, but the creative process episodes scratch an itch for me that basically nothing ever has outside of world-building collabs with my friends. Cheers, and thanks for finally doing this topic, you two and Trevor rock. You two and Trevor rock.
It was two thoughts.
Yeah, I thought it was thanks for doing this topic, you two.
No.
Yeah, okay. Davriel, student of knowledge. P.S. I was going to do some kind of gimmick pretending to be a future version of myself, but as I do not know what kind of world building you'll have done, it may have been fallen completely flat. Alas, a goof that must be saved for later. That's fine. Sometimes letters can just be letters. They don't all have to be gimmicks. You can.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Thank you.
Adam, I have a letter from Davriel, student of knowledge.
Oh.
He writes, hey, Christopher. Hey, Adam. I got my serious question in about the far future, but I've got a less serious one. Which far future character would be invited to Paul Parsons' cookouts when/if they travel to the present? Insincerely, Davriel, student of knowledge, including dumb knowledge.
Well,
stupid facts are still facts. Yeah. Not the legacies.
Great grandkids.
He's like, you guys are not invited. You know what you did.
Excommunicated from the family. Yeah.
Of the people we've talked about, I think the legacies are definitely invited. I don't know that Neon Necromancer is. He's a lot.
Yeah, he's the edgelord hero too. Like
it's fun because Neon Necromancer is a melding of Argent Adept, Night Mist, and Skateblade.
Skatblade, yes, yes.
You get what you deserve. You hope you don't get what you deserve.
Yeah. Last letter of this section is from Phantisma, who writes, what a great episode that was. Your creative processes are always so creative and usually such a process. I'm sure you both created distant future versions of heroes we all know and love, like the Eternal Freedom 5 featuring Legacy 17. Took me a second. Bunker Beyond, Constant, Wraith 3000, and the same old Absolute Zero.
Well, you were right. You were real close on Legacy 17 and same old Absolute Zero, although we kind of accidentally that one. Yeah. As for Wraith 3000, we'll see when we get to the wrap-up section.
Yeah. Actually, that does bring a question to mind. What do some of our undying heroes look like in the distant future? As long as Ryan Frost can find somewhere sufficiently cold enough, does he continue to bitterly endure through time? Is Haka's battle still unending? Even 10,000 years later? What will Akash Whatever finally branch out and grow with a few more millennia under her belt, etc., and so on? Thank you for taking the time to read this letter on what has already been such a fun and informative episode. Tisma. Yeah,
How did you know?
We did.
How did you know it's
answer a bunch
fun and
of that.
informative?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ryan Frost survives. He's just in a statue or shrine sort of thing.
Yeah.
Haka survives and tells people good, useful things.
Yeah.
And Akash Buddha does makes a hero.
Yeah. Makes a new hero from scratch.
Magic is dead is a fun twist on our world.
It is cool. Yeah.
No, it's actually dead. Just gone.
Yeah.
All right. Enough of this world until we come back to it in the end section. We have a bunch of follow-up letters that'll be fairly quick, fortunately. Sorry, Trevor. Sorry, listeners. Sorry, Adam. This episode's going long, but we're getting there. But a bunch of follow-up letters from the Tempest Foes episode. Starting with one from Slyduck, who writes, hey, hi, hello, and salutations, Christopher and Adam. Your episode on Tempest and his foes raised all sorts of interesting questions. First, I think the robot samurai from outer space was a really fun idea. Given your discussions on Omnitron X/U's personhood, it seems interesting to explore how free Source and the other members of the Mancipal protocol actually are, and how much their actions are really just the coding they were built on. Well, all of our actions are just the coding that we're built on, because we are deterministically.
Deterministically. We do coding now? Okay, all right.
Samurai choose to follow their sense of honor, perhaps to extremes, but just how much are these sentient AI responsible for their actions, and to what extent could they break their code of honor? Well, we know they can break their code of honor because we get the one that misinterprets its own code. Yeah. And so, the misinterpreting of its own code, but
you have room for interpretation of the code at all. So,
or is it breaking its code, or did its code get corrupted? Is it itself making a choice to break its code, or is it an outside source of some sort, even just like environment or whatever?
Your computer
corrupt its code.
This computer that's in front of me does make errors and misinterprets the code that it has.
Yeah.
like the code that it has just doesn't work properly, and so like it'll go, well, we had to.
But that happened because of an outside influence that corrupted it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think,
well, or it was written in a way that was faulty.
Right.
Like,
but one way or another, there's like there can be faults.
Yeah.
So I think that it's less that they can break their code and more that there can be corruption / faults introduced. Yeah. And what is the question? What is the difference between that and choosing to do an evil act? Well, man, what a great question.
Oh, yeah. Let us know when you figure that out.
In addition, I love the idea of ambiance and his thematic foil to Tempest. It reminds me of the gene stealers from Warhammer 40k, who create entire cults around themselves in order to bring down society and prepare it for the arrival of the all-consuming Tyranid fleet. Hey, oh, excuse me, this is not a... We don't need your Warhammer 40k lore dump.
Yeah. Oh my God. I tried to dip into Warhammer 40k lore, and it was like, here is the short explanation, 50 hours of videos. And I was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I get the gist of it. There's war.
And hammers.
Space. Yeah.
Fewer hammers than you might think.
Stuff about heretics.
A lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All while making people think this disgusting, creepy alien is the most beautiful, wonderful thing in the world. I would love to see a campier comic book version of this disturbing idea. I was curious, when ambiance forms people, yeah, right?
Yeah.
I think the ambiance is the forms.
Yeah.
When ambiance forms people, is this a power innate to his people? Or is it magical, chemical, psychic? How often does he appear, and what sort of plots does he enact? Does he really eat gold or nukes? Does he ever team up with Miss Abyss? In addition, to what extent does his mind control extend? Or is it just a general sense of ease? Or can he actively make people fight for him? Okay, great. Lots of questions here.
Yeah.
It's not innate to his people. It is magic, chemical, psychic. It's like a psychic thing, but there's probably some sort of like chemical trace
Like
left over of
pheromone
it.
thing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
How often does he appear? Very rarely. What sort of plots does he act? Mind controlling groups of people.
Mm-hmm.
Does he really eat gold? Hard to say. No one has ever seen him eat gold.
But no one's ever seen him not.
And the gold does go somewhere.
Yeah.
Does he eat nukes? Does he? Doesn't he?
I don't think he eats nukes.
You don't think he eats nukes?
I don't think. Maybe.
I don't think he ever teams up with Miss Abyss.
No, I don't think so.
And I think he can actively make people fight for him, but it takes a much more concentrated, focused.
Yeah.
Like, he has a general aura, but then he can be like, you specifically. It's more of an ambient effect.
Ambient effect, yeah.
Yeah. In addition, whether or not Tempest needs to fight civilians under Ambiance's way, I can imagine there are times when he might want to use electrical impulses to make people's muscles seize up without the added effect of, getting struck by lightning. In short, can Tempest set phasers to stun? Or, like his fellow Prime Warden fanatic, is he more of an all-smite guy? It seems to me that his powers are meteorological, not electrical specifically, though he did make himself an arm from the stuff, so who knows? You know. Yes, it's true. We do know. Yeah, he could definitely do like a little zap.
Little zaps, yeah.
It's harder to do a controlled like little zap. He couldn't just be like, I'm going to very carefully, slightly zap every person in this room just a little bit.
But he does have a mild amount of bioelectricity.
Yep. So that is the situation there. The letter concludes. Thank you for all the wonderful lore and nifty stories, and I'm excited to start telling stories of Sentinel's multiverse with the RPG, which I just picked up.
Nice.
Hooray, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Exciting.
Yep.
Your friend, the delighted Drake, Slyduck.
All right. I have a letter from Fragarak,
I wonder where Fragrack is this time.
who writes, Hail Writers, I'm currently stuck planetside after my crate was unloaded, and it'll take a bit for me to build up enough interference to travel any significant distance across space or the timelines. Thought I would ask you two a few questions. I just listened to the Tempest Foes episode and was pleasantly surprised to see the return of Miss Abyss. I love the diving suit aesthetic. Diving suit aesthetic.
Diving stute aesthetic. A diving stute aesthetic. Yeah.
Especially with how her bioluminescence causes light to leak out from her faceplate.
Yeah.
That's cool. I was wondering, has Miss Abyss ever tried to get her hands on some palladium? It would solve her energy crisis almost indefinitely, but would garner some unwanted attention.
Adam, do you remember palladium?
Is that a metal we made up?
Uh-huh.
That Baron Blade made?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember how it works.
When we did So the episode, we talked about this in episode 274.
Oh my God. Okay. That's more recent than I would have thought, actually.
Yeah. Well, and it was, so this episode happened in February of last year.
Of last year. Okay.
Not of this year.
Yeah.
February of last year, February 2024. So like the start of the show notes on the episode starts with Spine Watch 2024, because this is in the era of like, okay, I've had my MRI.
Yeah.
I know how bad things are. I'm trying to take it easy. We're back to recording episodes. My surgery isn't for a month. So my memory, I have an excuse for why my memory of this incident is bad. But I remember the issue we told. The issue is Infernal Heavens.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember that. I just didn't remember
Blade does
Palladium
evil
from
stuff in
that.
space.
Yeah.
And it has a Casanova backup story.
Mhm.
Palladium is we were asked the question of like, oh, hold on, how does the city of Mordengrad get its power and all that stuff? And we there's a power generation thing. Yeah, Baron Blade manages to synthesize radioactive isotopes that he calls Bladium, and somehow it's used to generate power. And there's a note. We note in the episode that it's wild that it took us to 2024 to come up with the word Bladium.
Yeah.
Like that seems like it's right there. Radium
at least we
Blade.
put it back in the 70s so that we could use it whatever we want now, but we should be No?
Yeah, no, because this as we say that it was probably in the aughts that it becomes this outlandish power but because it's not in the issue, it's in the question section. It doesn't get mentioned in the issue itself, which is partially why we don't remember it. But yeah, Palladium, and we note that a gumball-sized ball of it powers Mordengrad, and so that way you can have just like tiny amounts of it. Like, how do you drive this like powerful super suit? Oh yeah, well I have like
Palladium. Yeah.
I have a chiclet, a Tic Tac size.
Okay, but he's always had that, so like we can
right. Yeah,
okay.
Baron Blade's got Palladium.
Yeah. Great.
Anyway, there's your refresher on Sentinel Comics lore.
I would.
We've forgotten more about Sentinel Comics lore than you'll ever know.
It's true. We've painfully forgotten some things.
Oh yeah, it hurts. Where we desperately search for. I know we had it.
But yeah, that would solve her energy crisis. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
She should make a deal with Baron Blade.
She should.
No downside.
No downside at all. How well educated is Miss Abyss? You stated her father passed away and that she's not an inventor unlike him. What sort of education did she receive from him?
Oh man. So she definitely got some education from him, and I think that there was an amount of like he taught her a bunch of things about how the world works, but from his very skewed, we live on the ocean floor because we hate humanity point of view. She would have learned a lot and knows a lot about like ocean life stuff, but then knows next to nothing about other things. She knows a lot about mathematics because she has to.
Yeah, I think mechanics and mathematics are fine, but like
she doesn't have
the creative mind of an inventor.
Right. She's not making new stuff, but she's able to maintain the stuff that she.
Yeah.
Like that's her whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened to Miss Abyss's mother? Where's Mrs. Abyss? Normally I'd assume it's just hand waved away, but Mariana was conceived on the ocean floor. This implies that her mother was familiar with her husband's villainy and willing to live at his evil base. Where'd she go?
Miss Abyss's mother is a woman who fell in love with.
I think it kind of is hand waved away because a lot of comics in those eras are just like, yes, I just have this child here. And where did I get them?
You say those eras, but like he's from earlier, but she's not.
She's from the 90s, right?
I thought she was introduced in the aughts. Yeah, her first appearance is in 2002.
Oh.
She doesn't even exist by the time that we do the Distant Future limited series.
That's still early enough to hang.
Regardless, it's fine for her to be like, and because like she doesn't know what happened to her mother.
Yeah.
All she knows is what her father told her.
Right.
And her father told her, "Oh, you had a mother. She was the most beautiful woman. She was the most wonderful person. But alas, she could not survive the depths of the ocean." And I think the truth is, she was some woman that maybe fell in love with her father, but did not realize the depths of his insanity. And eventually tried to flee, and he's like, "No, don't go at that airlock." And
the pressure will
the pressure we'll do that. So yeah.
But I don't know that we ever see that though.
No, we might get told but we might get
maybe in time that we have
a later story.
Yeah.
Tells the story like she like finds in the process. Oh, that's kind of cool. In the process of fixing up the thing, she finds like a video recording of that, and she learns like, Father, you're not the man I thought you were.
Yeah.
And in a rage, she wrecks the place, and she goes, "Oh no."
Good thing I'm fine.
Maybe that's a totally fine 2-page open for a comic book that gives the answer of why is Miss Abyss attacking more submarines and why do we have to deal with her now because she has to rebuild her base, and we get this moment like there you go. That's a story.
That's a story right there. Sure. Yeah. Thank you for your time and your lives. Cordially, Fraggerack. P.S. Good news. I found a shipyard that may have a starship open for purchase. I can put some distance between the Bard and I before my next jump, if I'm lucky.
Please buy an extra spaceship for us. We would like to have a spaceship, please.
Yes.
If any listener buys us a spaceship, we will give you free access to the
Patreon.
Patreon.
For life.
For life.
If you give us a space, yeah.
Our life or yours, whichever's longer.
Yeah.
All right. Next letter here is from Farmer Gord, who writes, "Good morning, Adam and Christopher."
Hello.
It is no longer morning for us, unfortunately. No. We've been recording long enough that morning is in the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
Just finished up the Tempest Foes episode. Question about Miss Abyss. So with her being around long enough, did the writers ever throw in an issue around Miss Abyss deciding she was going to be a Mrs.? Like kidnap a fiancé to live on the bottom of the sea with her? If yes, was it Pete Risk? Now to go tend to the Zofran, Farmer Gord. Well, I don't think that ever happened, but I'm going to let the next letter speak to this topic some, because the next letter clearly has some designs on what might happen there, and it's not Pete Risk.
Oh, it's my letter. Yeah.
Turns out that's how it works.
Yep. This letter is from Bronson, temporary representative of Cooltopia. Yep. Here we go. Good time of day, gentlemen. I have a few questions that are completely unrelated in any way, shape, or form, and not at all insinuating anything, and no one should read any further into them.
Okay. I'll believe you.
Number 1, does Ryan Frost's suit work underwater?
Well, sure, it would have to, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, like if he touched the water, it would just freeze up around him, and that would be bad. So, like, it has to insulate him from the water and the water from him.
Yeah. Does Mariana Tide's suit work in sub-zero or even absolute zero temperatures?
Sub-zero temperatures, yes. I don't know about absolute zero, but sub-zero temperatures, yeah. I think her diving suit would have problems at very cold temperatures.
Yeah, I think so.
But I think it could work.
But she could go to like polar waters.
Yeah,
she's
right.
Fine.
Yeah.
As long as it's still water, I think she's fine.
Yeah. Interesting question. Carry on.
Does Ryan enjoy fishing, water sports, or sea life?
I don't know that he does, actually.
I don't know that he does.
I think that he could be into like the ocean as like this deep, unfathomable thing, and like,
I enjoy thinking about it, but I don't really need to go there. Like,
right. Yeah. Thinking about the ocean is a metaphor. Maybe even like being on a boat and being like, I'm sitting on the boat looking out over the horizon and thinking about the water.
Yeah. Does Mariana enjoy jazz music?
No, she does not.
No, I don't think she would.
She does not like jazz.
Yeah, I see the tree you're barking up.
The only did you just now saw it?
Well, I know.
The tree? The only kind of jazz music she likes is like electrofusion swing jazz that he'd be like, this is not jazz.
Right.
What is this?
DJ no. Jazzy Jeff.
Yeah. It's got jazz right in the name.
Yeah, right. Does Mariana meet a horrible end due to her close proximity to a certain frosty janitor and a writer's desire to remove all joy from his life?
No.
No.
That'd be mean.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where this ship came from, though, other than like
sailing.
People in suits.
Yeah. But they can never touch.
But their love knows no distance. Thank you for your lives, Bronson, temporary representative of Cooltopia. Thank you.
Thank you for your letter.
My goodness.
I have a letter from J. Beaker Esquire, who writes, Dear Team Sentinels, in Editor's Note number 30, you read letters where listeners could question and or correct you about science. Have you considered doing another Editor's Note devoted to these issues? I think that's a great idea. I think doing another Editor's... Yeah, no, Editor's Note, like, we did that in Editor's Note 30. Our next Editor's Note, coming next week, Adam.
So I mean, that's fine if you want to do that. I don't think that questioning us on science is useful because lots of times we're wrong intentionally.
No.
But
So this is the point: is that people who know a lot about science can write in and be like, "Hey, this is a way to explain." I think it's not interesting in a. Our answer is going to be like, "It just works that way."
Yeah.
But if you want to write us interesting letters about the science of
how it could
comics
work
and how it could or couldn't work, that's fine. I'm into the idea of those.
But
letters.
there's lots of things that just can't work and are dumb pseudoscience.
Yep, that's right. And we're going to hand wave things away. But if you want to write us some letters, the place to do it is Editor's Note number 90, because we did it for the first time in Editor's Note number 30. And this next upcoming one is Editor's Note 88.
Okay.
And the one after that is Editor's Note 89. So 3 Editor's Notes from now, Editor's Note 90. I'm going to write it up here. Now, I'm just reminding myself. Note 90 science. Sorry, I have my Editor's Note calendar on the whiteboard over here. Anyway, but yeah, Note 90, we will happily field your science questions. We won't be able to answer them ourselves, other than to tell you something that's probably unsatisfying. But that is the time to talk about the science of Sentinel Comics.
Okay.
So Editor's Note number 90, the theme of the Editor's Note number 90, the science of Sentinel Comics.
That will be March, yes?
Yes, that will be March.
Yeah.
The March of Sentinel Comics science. So Jay Beaker asks this question specifically. This question was tagged Miss Abyss, and the question was, have you considered doing an editor's note devoted to things that are wrong about science? And then Jay Beaker leaves us with some fun facts.
Okay.
Fun fact 1, Fright Train's height is listed as 8'3" in the Sentinel Comics Core Rulebook, page 353, which is not particularly close to 15 foot tall, as at least one person has suggested in the Letters Page podcast, episode 305, around 20 minutes in. Now, to be fair, Fright Train is 8'3", but he stands like this.
I don't think
Right?
that's what 8'3" means. I think that 8'3" means if you're standing upright.
You mean that you think if he's standing up? Oh, I think he is 8'3". I don't think he is more than twice the height of an average human.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. So whichever one of us said he was 15 foot tall, we meant 8'3", obviously.
Yeah.
Fun fact 2. In the Dungeons & Dragons 3.5 edition, a storm giant is about 15 feet tall with a 39 in strength, according to the Monster Manual on page 124, and therefore has a maximum load capacity of 2.8 tons, according to the Player's Handbook, page 162. Yeah. But that's some other game.
Yeah,
I don't know why we're talking about Dungeons & Dragons.
Yeah.
I think that this is coming to the fact that we said that she's like 15 foot tall or something. But
Yeah,
anyway.
I think, yeah.
Whatever. Fun fact 3, the smallest known nuclear submarine ever put into operations was the NR-1 with a length of over 147 feet and a weight of around 400 tons. Only one was ever built. Are you saying that something about the comparison in size between her and a nuclear submarine?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the problem is.
Yeah.
This is Sentinel
These-
Comics.
these are-
A
these are cool fun
15-foot
facts.
woman can lift a 400-ton submarine.
Yeah.
That's-
Right. Tell us all the ways that we're wrong and or right in
Yeah.
Editor's Note number 90.
Yeah.
Get your science questions in now. Time is running out. The letter concludes, nothing contained in this letter should be construed as legal advice. No attorney-client relationship has been created. If you have any legal questions, please consult your own attorney.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
3 really cool progeny heads in the same spacesuit writes, Greetings, Christopher and Adam. I was just listening to the Tempest Foes episode, and it got me wondering, with a name like Tempest, did any writers ever pit him against a villain inspired by the Shakespeare play? Like, say, a wizard of some kind named Prospero, a monster named Caliban, or even some kind of fey creature called Ariel. As a follow-up, does Shakespeare exist in the metaverse, and are there any other inspirations in Sentinel Comics from his works? Perhaps something Grimm does. Thanks. Shakespeare certainly exists in the metaverse.
Yeah. We did not erase Shakespeare from the metaverse.
The metaverse is almost one for one ours.
It doesn't have Marvel or DC,
historically.
or actually a bunch of other comic publishers.
But like, if you're like, how was World War II different? It wasn't. Like, it was the same.
Except
it has different comics. That's like,
Yeah, right.
that's the only difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then the question is there, we know that he doesn't fight a wizard named Prospero. Tempest has canonically a submersible craft, which he doesn't need, named Prospero. Not
It's
in the
a
comics,
toy,
though, just in the toy line.
Yeah.
But he has a submarine, a thing that Tempest has no usage for.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
We can't have him have a monster named Caliban.
No. I don't think that they really dwell on the Shakespeare stuff with Tempest.
Right. I think there's maybe some writers who are like, oh, I'm going to do a Shakespeare thing with Tempest. But Tempest is named that because of the word Tempest meaning storm.
Yeah. I think that, there's probably a writer that's like, I'm going to have the text of the Tempest be in the issue and be like quoted a few times.
Or quotes from the Tempest. Yeah, right. There's stuff. It's a good play.
Yeah.
All right. Adam, my last letter of the day. From the Tireless Dynamo, writes, greetings, Christopher and Adam, creators of the multiverse. Mm-hmm. I had intended to get this letter in before the Tempest Foes episode, but alas, the passage of time got away from me. So here it is now. In Tempest episode, you describe Victor as a sadist involved in the gene binding process and a Mengele-type character. Mm-hmm. This description predates the meta-metaverse creation of Dr. Kronz, who seems to fit that description as well. With the addition of Gene Dr. Kronz, is the description still accurate? Obviously, Victor is still a sadist, but is he still a gene-binding scientist as well? Is there anything you initially thought were Victor stories that are actually Kronz stories? No, everything that we said is a Victor story is a Victor story. Victor is involved in the gene binding process. He helps out with it. He works on it. He is aware of it. He is a scientist in the same degree that Tempest is a scientist. Mm-hmm. But we don't really pay attention to Tempest as a scientist as much as we do Tempest as an ambassador and Tempest as a crime fighter. And we don't pay attention to Victor as a scientist as much as we pay attention to Victor as a military genius, or not genius, but leader. He is a military leader who came from the science side. And he worked with Kronz, but Kronz is the actual mastermind of the gene binding stuff.
I think that if I were to define Victor's branch of science, it would be torture. Like,
yeah, right.
Like,
yeah.
That's where his passion lies.
He does a lot of the capturing of creatures that get gene bound.
I don't think that Kronz is a sadist. I don't think that he is like...
No, he's a pervert.
Yeah, he's a pervert.
that we know.
Right.
Obviously.
Like, he has
3 arms.
His 3 arms. Unreasonable. But like, I don't think that...
There was an accidental... what's that guy? What's that actor? Unreasonable.
Walken?
Yeah, you're like, this guy has 3 arms.
3 arms. Unreasonable.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
That's Victor complaining about... Victor, famously voiced by Christopher Walken, complaining about Gene Dr. Kronz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, Victor is mostly interested in the science to the extent at which he can cause pain.
Victor is interested in causing pain.
Yes.
Kronz is interested in experimentation and learning more.
Yeah. Kronz is science in spite of pain. Victor is like, he doesn't care about the pain. Like, that's just the pain. That is a factor that happens. Like, it's a variable. He doesn't he doesn't care about it beyond that. He's not like, I want to cause the pain. He wants to do the sciences. And if that causes pain, so be it. But I'm doing the science. Victor is like, but what about pain though? So that's the difference between them, I think.
I think that is a perfectly reasonable difference. Do you want to read one final letter?
I do. Last letter of the day is from Because Comics, who writes, Hi, creatorly types. I very much appreciate the podcast and all the wonderful Sentinel creations associated with it. Thank you so much for making it happen. A question about the Tempest Foes episode for you. It was offhandedly mentioned that Tempest/Naturalist team-ups were a thing in relation to pollution in the ocean. How do they work? The naturalist can become a crocodile, and from descriptions, a large one, suggesting he is a saltwater croc, but they aren't found at depths below 4 meters and have to breathe every 2 hours by slowing their heart rate and metabolic functions. Otherwise, it has to be more frequent than that. These conditions aren't prime for action-packed team-ups, and if he's not a crocodile, he's a guy in a scuba gear? Well, I'd love a writer's room on these two. Can you give us an idea of how the naturalist helps out in the refuge? Thanks again.
So the naturalist knows a lot about, like, nature and animal life and stuff like that, and so can help with the stuff in the refuge even without turning into a crocodile.
A lot of pollution is up at the surface, like a lot of plastic floats and stuff, like
right, and that's the stuff that he
oil
cares
spills.
About. He does not have to become a crocodile to do that. He can just swim around as a guy in scuba gear or not. Like, it's fine. He's not going to go swim to the ocean floor.
But I also think that like he might swim in the ocean floor as a crocodile, and they might just go like, he just does that. Like,
and people are like, wait,
water's
hold
water,
on.
Right?
He shouldn't be able to do that. And he's like, but he's not a regular crocodile. He's a magical.
He's
crocodile.
a magical crocodile.
He's a magical crocodile.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a man who turned into a crocodile form, and that crocodile form doesn't follow crocodile rules or man rules.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
There you go. Okay. So
we got to do the recap.
We got to do.
We got
to wrap up. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so we're happy with issue 1. Issue 2, we get a Captain Cosmic of some sort.
Yeah.
We don't need to get into super depth of it, but how do we want to? In what way do we want to have a Captain Cosmic? Because like Captain Cosmic is a name that multiple characters have had, but isn't like a thing that can be passed on. The 2 characters have had that name. It's entirely coincidental.
Right. This is someone who just like takes the name also. Yeah.
I think Captain Cosmic should be an alien.
Sure. Yeah. Why not?
Since we're like talking about the world and the things, like having this Captain Cosmic be an alien species and
actually a starship captain.
Yeah. Right. Like not flying, shooting lasers from his hands. Probably it still has some superpowers, but
maybe like running like just doing like a normal supply. Maybe that's what we do. We do like a normal supply run, and the ship is ambushed by some pirates or something, and something happens, and he gains some powers from that, and fights off the pirates, and that is like, well, now I'm
Captain Cosmic is an alien.
Mm-hmm.
Gets who's flying a freighter ship.
Yeah,
gets attacked by pirates. The core destabilizes.
Yeah,
the Bladium core destabilizes and is going to rip the ship apart. But something from planet Omnitron like interfaces with this person and saves him. So this is a like quote unquote magic cybernetics. Captain Cosmic, and that can fly.
Can we do a thing also where? This is too much. Where like the ship is destroyed, but like all the crew is killed also, but all of their consciousnesses are in his mind.
It's too much.
It's too much.
Too many consciousnesses. Because what I was going to do is already have the Omnitron consciousness in his mind.
Okay. I mean, communing with Omnitron as
because it's like cool so like the bits of the ship become like part of him. Like the cybernetic controls of the ship, and he's able to now fly through space and live in space and stuff like that because of the spaceship stuff on one hand and the Omnitron stuff on the other hand. And so that's like he and because the ship blows up and he would die, but enough of him is left, and the Omnitron planet's like, I could just put these back together, and the answer is it worked. So
all right, that's cool.
So he's kind of a alien
cybernetic
zombie,
magic
cybernetic Omnitron, and that's Captain Cosmic. Great. Okay. We have a brand new hero in issue 3. Oh man. How to do this in under 45 minutes.
Oh my God.
Brand new hero. I almost want to leave this up for like a writer's room or something. Cause like because the things we haven't done yet today in this already very, very long episode is create a brand new hero for issue 3. That there's a new hero that Haka meets, and that hero helps us learn more about this sci-fi version of Sentinel Comics. And then we get a legacy thing, and we also get an introduction to the Church of the Dawn, but just as like a side reference, not a huge thing. The other thing we got to do is all of issue 5 with maybe a new Spike comes back, and then we have by the end of the issue a new Wraith.
Yeah.
I think those are future topics.
I think so too.
Either future topics or like a future creative process where it's like, okay, do more about the limited stuff. Like I could see
we have already done so much for this, like in terms of the creative process output.
We could have just done creative process Legacy Twins.
We could.
That would have been sufficient.
That was a whole.
We wanted to do more, but we were too ambitious. We promised too much. It happens all the time where we want to do a million things, and we do want to do all the things.
We flew too close to the dawn.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is saying
that has if you fly too close to the dawn, then it can melt the paraffin on your glider.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. We got the new virtue also like that.
Yeah.
That was a whole other thing too. Like that could have been its own creative process.
Right. I'm very happy with the Legacy Twins. I'm happy with the new Baron Blade. I'm happy with the Neon Necromancer. And I'm happy with like all these things are good.
There's the new Captain Cosmic that we just
that was a lot faster. He deserves a bit more attention.
Sure, but like I feel pretty confident about like the origin. Like,
me too. The point is, there is more work for us to do with this limited series. We'd be happy to return and do that work another time. But for now, we're gonna have to throw in the towel and be like, okay, we've given you some. It might be worth doing a follow up if people are into this and they want to hear it. We could happily do a follow up. Prophecies We did an episode called Prophecies with the 1 in it. We can do an episode called Prophecies with a 2
with a 2 in it. Prophecies, that's a S is a 2.
Prophecies, yeah.
Each one is a different letter, but
yeah. Prophecies. Oh, I hate that. But anyway, point is, there you go. And not until we've done more. Maybe when we do that one, we could do a cover, because at that point we'd have a better feel for some of the looks and things of stuff. But anyway, very exciting.
I might try and do like some sketches, maybe if I can, if I have time.
If you have time, if you're inspired.
Yeah, but because I've had like a look in mind for the Legacy Twins for a long time.
And I'm so happy with how they turned out. They turned out both how we expected, but also with unexpected things that I didn't. I
don't know if I want to put that in the show notes so that people could see it before the episode.
Oh, it's true. It's true. The other thing that's funny to me is that I really went into this episode going to be like, oh, we finally get to talk about the Legacy Twins. Yeah. And there'll be other stuff. We finally get to talk about the Legacy Twins. I come out of the episode going, Adam, the Neon Necromancer. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Like, if I read this, I'd be like, oh, Legacy Twins, cool, interesting. And then I get to the Neon Necromancer, and I'm like, yes, magic is dead, and this punk kid is going to bring it back? Or something?
Yeah.
Who knew?
No, that's great.
All right.
It's very cool. Yeah, so, like, the thing to think about, I guess, is what that last slot is. Because, like, obviously, Wraith is, but, over time, we need to come up with...
This is why I think that actually throwing in the towel here is ideal.
Yeah.
Because we had a bunch of time, years, to percolate on the Legacy Twins.
Yeah.
And I think more time to percolate on this stuff. Like, we just created a bunch of stuff today for this. It needs more. It can have more. The thing it would really benefit from is time.
Yeah.
Which is also the thing that we're running out of right now.
It's true. That's true.
Every day.
Every day.
You're wasting your time listening to this podcast when you could be making something of your life.
I don't... You can make something of your life and listen to this podcast, I think.
Well, fortunately, it's not up to you. Everything has been determined in advance.
Oh, my God. That's not freeing.
Doesn't matter if it's freeing or not. It's just true.
All right.
It's not that it's been determined in advance. It's determined by your environment. It's not. I don't want to get into it. Thanks, everybody, so much for listening.
Thanks, as always, to our patrons. We could not do this nonsense without you. If you'd like to,
it's true. It's your fault.
If you'd like to become a patron, head on over to patreon.com/theletterspage. We'd love to have you.
Yep. Please do that.
And next week,
an episode all about K.N.Y.F.E. I want to tell you, Adam, how I wrote this on my whiteboard. Because my whiteboard, I write the titles of each coming episode. And I don't have the space to write K.N.Y.F.E. can't just punch her way out of a situation.
Right.
Which is the prompt that we have here. So I just wrote on my calendar, Knife no punch.
Knife no punch.
Knife no punch.
It's a knife. She no punch.
She no punch.
She no punch.
A knife no punch.
Knife. She no punch.
Knife no punch. Knife no punch.
All right. But that's what it'll be.
Until next time, we've been your hosts. I don't know. I got nothing, man.
Yeah, where you go with this?
I'm tired.
I'm waiting with bated breath.
Are you hoping to catch a fish with that bated breath?
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Bye.
Bye.
The Letters Page is a weekly podcast featuring fiction from the world of Sentinel Comics, written by me, Christopher Bedell,
and illustrated by me, Adam Repetaro. We're also your hosts.
The music that you hear was composed by me, Jean-Marc Giffen, and is used courtesy of Handelabra Games.
The song, Christopher and Adam Reading Letters to You, was written and performed by Christopher's brother, Anthony Bedell. The show is edited and produced by me, Trevor Casterline. Thanks for listening and supporting the multiverse.
Christopher and Adam reading letters from you. Let 'em read 'em at you. Let 'em read 'em at you. Oh, Christopher and Adam. Christopher and Adam reading letters to you. Christopher and Adam. Christopher and Adam.
It just randomly jumped off your shelf. An item
That's
from
bizarre.
Adam's shelf just
Yeah.
leapt off the shelf at him.
This
It's like, no.
Dark side figure, just like
He tried to stop you. He's like, no, whatever you're going to do, don't do it.
Yeah.
Whatever you're about to create is going to somehow damage the multiverse.
okay.
They tried to reach through Darkseid to stop you,
Yeah.
but it's too late. We're going to do it. You can't stop us, Darkseid. He looks
Yeah.
mad about it.
He's always mad.
He's so mad.
Okay, so